Hey, it's Alan for FanDuel. 35192. Want to send me a text. And I think we're up and running again at alancoxshow.com. The live stream's going. Yeah? Everything is 5 by 5 over there. And who do we have to thank for it? Let me look. Jenny Wankajock. Jenny Wankajack or Jock?
Your guess is
I guess,
mine,
yeah,
you know?
okay. Well,
just have fun with it.
Yeah,
Just
well.
go whichever way you want. If you
You know,
wanted to
Jenny
wank
is such a
Jack.
funny name that it tripped me up there. Jenny Wankajock. That's what we'll go with. And, hey, Cavaliers are off tonight, but I think they won a big one last night against the Toronto Raptors. They came back here at home, 118-93. That's a pretty sizable win. Raptors aren't an awful team. I mean, they're at about 500. But did they come in here thinking they were going to beat the Cavaliers? I don't know. That Chris Bosh boy, you got to keep him in his place.
He's been in his place for a long time. He hasn't played in
That
nearly a decade.
Fred Van Vliet
There you go.
from Rockford, Illinois. You got to
No,
keep
he's not
him in his
playing
place.
right now. He's injured.
Ah,
but
come on. Ja Morant.
No, was never on their team.
Oh. Who am I thinking of?
Grizzlies.
Wasn't that? No, I know he's on the Grizzlies now. I thought they got him from Toronto. Who was the big?
No, he was drafted by the Grizzlies.
Ah,
You're thinking of
come
Pascal
on.
Siakam?
Huh?
Pascal Siakam?
Pascal Siakam.
He was an all-star this year.
I think that was an ointment I used in college. Pascal Siakam. All right. Well, I was reading how Jimmy Haslam, he of the Cleveland Browns and Columbus Crew ownership team, has bought. He's the majority owner now of the Milwaukee Bucks. And it seems that his reputation preceded him, not least of which all of the controversy surrounding, of course, the signing and very much paying of Deshaun Watson. Milwaukee Bucks fans, at least some of the people, more vocal people in that fan base, are approaching the news with some skepticism, I guess you might say. It's a more diplomatic way to put it. They're a little nervous about Jimmy Haslam. I saw one guy say that this is step one into getting Giannis to the Cavaliers, which you'd have to take a very circuitous route, I guess, to make that happen with Jimmy Haslam. But worse things could happen. I don't know. I don't know if people in Cleveland actually care, but people in Milwaukee have been somewhat vocal about it. Some people, listen, I don't want to put too fine a point on it here, but you might have noticed when it comes to social media, some people can be, how you say, dramatic in their takes on things. And so if you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan, we have a lot of Bureau Chiefs, a lot of people who listen in and around Milwaukee, Wisconsin on the iHeartRadio app. The Milwaukee suburbs, of course, the home to the great Joe Thomas, Cleveland Browns Hall of Famer. Now, if this person had really been smart, they would have gone an extra level down on their Giannis to the Cavs eventually take and somehow worked Joe Thomas into it. Joe Thomas, former Cleveland Brown, from the suburbs of Milwaukee. Now, his basketball team, owned in part by the guy who owned his football team. Do you think that Joe Thomas will be in talks at all
With the Bucks?
To
do something with the Bucks?
To be a liaison. He's in the Hall of Fame.
No,
a liaison. You don't think that's coincidence?
I think Jimmy Haslam's first priority with that team is to sign Miles Bridges.
Yeah. All right. Is he one of them? Is he got sexual assault vibes all over him?
Just regular
Is
assault.
that the guy? Okay.
Regular assault, but he pled no contest. So he got 3 years probation.
I think when people plead no contest, they should make them do a contest and then let them plead no contest.
But if you're a Charlotte Hornets player, you know it's going to be no contest.
Coincidence? Well, listen, there's a lot going on there, and who knows? I wasn't even aware that Jimmy Haslam owned the Columbus Crew. until I read that store. I only associate.
Dan Gilbert owned the Columbus Crew.
No, Gilbert owns everything else.
Okay.
He owns half of Cleveland and all of downtown Detroit. But Jimmy Haslam owns a Columbus Crew soccer team, where they have Crew Stadiums, where they have Sonic Temple, the big multi-day festival that's coming up again this year in May. Back after a long COVID hiatus.
Poundcake, name one headliner for Sonic Temple. This year.
No, first of all, let's back up a little bit.
Rob Zombie.
Let's back up a little bit. Do you know what Sonic Temple is?
Yeah, it used to be incarceration.
Nope.
Sonic Temple is like the metal festival.
It's a hard rock festival, yeah. Incarceration would be a metal festival, yes. But Sonic Temple used to be, if you want to go down that road, what did it used to be? Since you at least are aware that it used to be something else.
I know.
You're so close. I mean, you did get a headliner, though, so I got to give you credit for that.
Because we were giving them away.
What did he say? Who did he say was on?
He said Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie, okay. Yep, we were giving him
Saturday
away.
night.
Yep.
It is. No, oh, God. It was.
Give it a second. They took the name down from 4 words to 2.
4 words to 2.
Blank on the blank.
Oh, rock on the range. Rock on the range.
Rock on the range. He did it.
But he got there.
That's all right.
Yeah, rock on the range. That's what it was.
You go.
I remember that.
Uh-huh.
I keep confusing Sonic Temple and then incarceration. One, we're giving away tickets.
Listen,
to
between the two of those
prison.
festivals, you probably could have named any band, and you would have been right. They would have been on one of those 2 festivals.
Yeah. But it sounds fun, and that Crew Stadium is massive.
It is huge. Yes, Crew Stadium, and it's now 4 days. It's Thursday through Sunday down there in Maine. People keep asking me if we're going to be giving away more tickets to that. I would say probably. We usually do stuff kind of before they go on sale and then a little bit closer to the date. That's usually the protocol, but don't hold me to that. I was at my daughter's soccer practice yesterday in Rocky River, and a guy in a Penguins jersey walked over to me and introduced himself. He's like, "Are you Alan Cox?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, man," I think his name is Jason, maybe. He's there with his wife and like a little kid. He looks like he's maybe early 30s. And he goes, "Hey, man." And I'm like, "Hey, Penguins." He's like, "Yeah, man, I've been listening to you since I was a kid." And I was like, all right. I mean, if he's early, listen, I got to Pittsburgh. If he's from there, I got there in 99. So mathematically, yes. But I'm sitting there with a couple buddies of mine, a couple of other dad friends, because our daughters are all in the same soccer practice. And they're like, "Does that happen a lot?" And I go, "Yeah." And I said, they don't normally tell me that they've been listening to me since they were a kid. But then I was like, well, let's be diplomatic about it. Let's be optimistic, rather. Kid meaning what?
Teenager, maybe?
Teenager, maybe?
If I'm saying since a kid, I'm saying at least that's middle school. Yeah, if it were from high school, I'd say I've been listening to you since high school.
Yeah, because you look like a young dad. Isn't that early 30s maybe, right? So if 20 years ago I started there, let's say, 20 plus years ago.
Early 30s is just a regular dad. By the way.
Is it?
Yeah. You're an old dad.
Well, no. When I think, listen, we're in Ohio.
20s is
that
young
right.
dad.
Well, we're in Ohio, so I don't know if that's a young dad. There's 22-year-old girls walking around with 3 kids, so,
That's what I'm saying.
There's some big rush. Yeah, but to me, that's a young dad or a young mom, right?
Well, I'm telling you.
21. I mean, listen, my mom had me when she was 20.
Regular, like, that age, for him to have a 7-year-old.
No, I know.
That's pretty standard, I'd say.
I get it. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. Just wanted to point that out.
That I'm an old dad?
That he wasn't a young dad.
Well, no, I meant young as in listen, there are other guys my age that have, not a lot of them, granted. Certainly not where my daughter goes to school. I'm easily the oldest dad there.
How many grandpas are the same age as you there?
Have
you run into that yet?
The grandpa, my age?
Yeah.
No. No, the grandpas I see are grandpa age, like full-on grandpa age. My brother was a grandpa at 39.
That's still crazy.
Yeah, of course. He's a young grandpa. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, that is a young grandpa.
It is, right?
I will allow that one.
I said, you and Kid Rock, your grandparents at 39.
Does that make
You're
you
in great company.
a great uncle?
What's that?
Does that make you a great uncle?
A great uncle. I mean, I am a pretty great uncle.
A grand uncle? What is that?
I don't think that's a thing. Grand uncle? You're just your grandfather's brother. Just an uncle. I don't know.
But to his grandkids, you're not their uncle. You're
I don't know.
one step more.
I've never met him. But I don't know what I
definitely
would
not
be.
a great uncle.
No. Well, I'm a great uncle. Not a great grand uncle, if that's a thing. No, my youngest brother had kids really young, and then his daughter had a kid when she was like 15 or something, 16. So, whatever. He was a very young grandfather.
Is that how?
And he got remarried too, and he has 2 kids. I mean, my youngest brother's 5 years behind me, so he has 3 grown kids. He has 2 grandkids, and then he has like a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Now, you didn't meet Gwen when she was working on 16 and Pregnant with your brother's kid.
No. I met Gwen when she was working for Judge Mathis.
Okay.
Yeah. Which just went off the air, by the way. I mentioned to her, I go, so did you know people that were still working there? She's like, oh, yeah, most of the people I worked with are still there. Because once you get on a show like that, I mean, you're not going to jump ship. You're going to work. When I met her, she's working like 90 hours a week, producer for Judge Mathis. But
90 hours a
and
week.
she worked for Jerry Springer before that, yeah. But you're young and you got a job in network television production. So you're kind of like, I'm not going to give this job up, you know.
Which one was more entertaining? Did you ever ask her that, Mathis or
What do you
Springer?
think? Well, I remember.
I don't know, because I feel like Springer is mostly like contrived. So I feel like that's not interesting because
Well, it's all contrived, but I mean, I remember her telling me the story that when there was the Jerry Springer pay-per-view, the unrated pay-per-view, one of the things she had to do was go out and find rubber chickens that a woman could put inside herself. That was one of. So if you're asking which show is more entertaining, that probably never happened on the Judge Mathis show.
I was going to say, Judge Mathis, at least the cases were real.
But I can't believe how long, with all of the judge shows on television, 90% of which you've never heard of. There was Judge Judy and then everybody else, Judge Mathis. I can't believe that all these shows can last as long as they do. They're syndicated, so a company can put them wherever they want. They're less concerned about ratings.
Yeah, they don't cost very much.
Don't
to
cost
make,
very much.
So
but it's just amazing that
they just kind of print money with those.
Yeah, they do. For them to be on as long as they are.
I like that real judge that's up in Rhode Island or something. You always get clips of him.
Oh, the older guy giving people like sandwich board
punishments or like talking to the kid's mom, and the kid's mom's like, "Oh, she never wears her seatbelt," or "She's always speeding, running through red lights." And,
Frank Caprio is the guy.
Those are pretty entertaining. Some of those clips.
Yeah, I don't think he's an active judge anymore, but he was a judge for a long. Oh, maybe he is. He was a judge in Providence, Rhode Island. I bet our boss Rob Anthony knows all about him. He's a Rhode Islander.
I thought, what's her face? Sarah Palin was getting a judge show. Whatever happened to that?
I don't know, but I don't think most people want. I
think a lot.
That's
of
not what
Nail
and Palin was.
A lot of people don't really care about Sarah Palin. She looks positively normal compared to the people that are out there today. But I don't know. If you look up Sarah Palin judge, it's basically all about lawsuits she was involved in, not a judge show. But I think you're right. There was something like that.
We talked about it on the show. That's how I knew. And I was like, that's interesting. She's no Judge Judy, but I would give it a look.
March 2016, she signed to do a judge show. I don't know what came of that.
Didn't even see a pilot.
Well, it might have been, you can sign a production deal and make a pilot and nobody buys it.
Correct.
They'll pay you. You'll make a little bit of money. But everybody is operating in the shadow of Judge Judy with those things. Judge Judy, who did that show forever and then re-signed at 75 years old for $400 million or something. And now I don't know what she's doing now.
I think she sold it. I think she sold all, because she owned all of her reruns and stuff.
Right, but didn't she also? She's on a streamer now.
Yeah.
A streaming service. I don't want to get those. Hippies that called me all mad.
Yeah, I think it's just called Judy now.
It's just called Judy.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well. Judge Judy Prime Time was a show a while ago, and then Anyway, but good for her, to be an old lady like that and to be able to still be calling the shots on your own show. That's the dream. It's all anybody wants. To be in showbiz as long as they possibly can and have the leverage.
See, I feel like I'd want to be, if I could get the kind of money that Judge Judy has, I'd be good. I'd be like, hey, I got, what is she worth? Like $200 million or something?
Something like that. Yeah, a lot.
Like, just go off into the sunset.
You could, but if you love what you do and they're paying you handsomely to do it, what, you sit up there in a robe, you tell people not to pee on your head, and what's the problem? You shoot a month's worth of shows in a few days. Most of the time, you're out there living your life.
That's a good point.
You're kicking it.
That's a good point.
I
Let's
was gonna say,
start a Judge show.
Let's do Judge Poundcake.
Yeah.
When
we can make that a bit. We could get people to bring cases to Judge Poundcake. Ooh.
absolutely.
Yeah, but how would you rule? What would your
Terribly.
sense of
Fair
jurisprudence
and
be?
honest.
Huh?
Fair and honest.
But his fair and honest.
Well, I'm the judge, so you're calling me
I
the
know.
judge. So
You come to judge.
what do you mean? It's not my fair and honest. It's, what, judge, your honor. It's not. I take Cody out of it. I can't have my.
No, that's not going to make it a good show. We need you to have.
The show's going to be called, you can't take that out. It's going to be called Cody of Honor. This is your chance to get away from the pound cake thing that you've been wanting to do. Yeah. The new show, Cody of Honor, is you in a black robe or whatever you want to wear.
No, it's going to be a black robe.
Black robe. And we're going to have you up behind a thing, and people are going to bring their cases to you. Now, here's the problem. Mm-hmm. All of these judge shows, the productions, pick up the judgments, whatever the monetary judgments are, right? Mm-hmm. They're real judgments. And the people have their stuff paid for. We can't do that. We have less than no budget on this program. So we can't do anything like that. These would have to be non-binding. First case is me versus the comic book grading.
Yeah.
CGC down there in Tampa who screwed me over. I'm going to bring this to Cody of Honor, and we are going to see what happens there.
Okay, who are you ruling in favor of on that one?
Well, obviously, I'm going to rule in favor of the plaintiff, Alan Cox.
You have to be unbiased.
No,
Lady Justice is blind.
It is blind, but I'm saying this case is open and shut.
I think
they
so.
They were in the wrong.
I think so.
So what I'm going to recommend is you go to the Better Business Bureau and give them like a 0 rating. I don't know what the
that'll fix everything.
It will.
The Better Business Bureau.
You better hit up their Yelp page
of
and leave
Tampa.
all types of bitches and hoes on that.
There you go.
That's what I suggest.
So that's going to be the kind of ruling you're going to leave for people? Hey, go to their Yelp page.
With no budget.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. I guess that's your only...
Give me some money to work with here.
These people are real duty heads. So says...
Go leave poop emojis in their comments.
Yep, Judge Cody Brown. Cody of Honor is premiering this fall on Amazon Freevee. Whatever. I think that's where Judge Judy is.
Spam them with fake business.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, love the show.
Thank you, sir.
My mom and dad and a ton of people I know would plan their whole day. Obviously, they were retired, but plan dinner and everything around Judge Judy at 4:30. It was like a tradition. They had a lineup of Judge Judy, and whoever else, another judge. And the funny thing is the amount of ratings they got were just crazy. Just because people love to see, Judge Judy give the smart-ass remark to somebody that's mouthing off to her. But the one thing I did want to tell you is there was a Judge Judy type show. They always have the bailiff sitting next to her, the real tough guy.
Yep.
He actually, I don't know if you remember this, he actually killed his wife. Like, he was on that show. And, he was in prison for murder, but it was crazy.
I vaguely remember that, yes, what you're talking about. I remember when Judge Judy ended her syndicated show, The bailiff she had was all butthurt because she wasn't bringing him to the new show. And she's like, well, it's like a fresh coat of paint. There's going to be other people there. I'm going to be in the middle still, but it's going to be like her adult granddaughter is on this new show or something because her granddaughter's a lawyer, you know. But,
but how many bailiffs or whoever get that opportunity to be on a syndicated Judge Judy?
Right.
But
Don't kill
the
your
thing
wife and you'll keep a pretty good gig. It's like the actor Michael Jace, who people might remember. He was a big, tall, black actor. He played a cop on The Shield.
Yeah.
And he's in prison for the rest of his life because he shot his wife or something. Like they got into a fight. And I think his character had already been written out. So maybe he was having a hard time finding work. I don't know what, but he had a great gig on The Shield back in the day. And he's in prison for the rest of his life for murder. So, listen, what do I always say? Don't murder people.
Good advice.
That's my hot take, right? If you don't want to find yourself on Cody of Honor, don't murder people. I mean, we can't handle capital offenses like that, obviously. There would be no one involved in the show that would have any legal expertise whatsoever. I'm sure we would have to have some kind of legal counsel as a consultant, right?
Like who?
I don't know. We'll hit up Misney. He's photogenic. He has very expressive eyebrows from what I've seen. I got a break. If you want to send a text, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com if you want to watch and listen wherever you are on the iHeartRadio app.
Buzzard Radio.
The Buzzard.
Is Roe
CPR playlist for a full list of songs.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
100.7 WMMS, Cleveland. Call the Alan Cox Show.
Trash radio, bud. Trash radio.
216-578-1007 or 1-800-348-1007.
35192. Want to send me a text? AlanCoxShow.com to watch. Thanks again to Jenny Wankajok helping out back there. Cavaliers win big last night here at home against the Toronto Raptors. 118-93 was the final. They are off tonight and tomorrow. And then Wednesday, first day of March, they will be in Boston to play the Boston Celtics. And then back here at home on Saturday. Boy, they got some days in between these games this week. Saturday night, back here at home against the Detroit Pistons. By the way, another administrative note. We're going to be sitting on the tarmac for another week for my brand new heavy metal show here on WMMS.
Oh.
As it finally occurred to us that sports are going to jam us up occasionally, and we didn't want to premiere on a night where a Cavs game might cut into us.
That makes sense.
We're doing a new show that was going to premiere this Saturday. We're going to push it to March the 11th. It gives people another week to get their heads around it. For local artists to submit things to me, we will have an email box for you. The show is called 2 Hours to Midnight, and it's going to be Saturdays from 10 to midnight. When we're not getting cut in by sports, once we get into Guardians baseball season, that'll be a thing too. So we'll take it as it comes. It's me, Corey Roddick, Pat Butler. The three of us will be doling out 2 hours on Saturdays of nothing but metal across the spectrum. People are like, now it's not going to be podcast. I will post the playlist every week. Podcasting is a whole other thing because there's music rights and all that. So that won't be a thing. But I will post the playlist weeks then we do it. So once we kind of get our sea legs with this show, I think it'll be a lot of fun. But we're going to delay the premiere a week to March the 11th because I don't think that the Cav, and again, no, they'll be off that night. I wrote the Cavaliers front office and I said, hey, it's Alan Cox. And they said, who? And I go, over there at MMS. And they were like, what? I go, we're the FM flagship for the Cavaliers. And they're like, all right, I'll take your word for it. And I said, hey, is there any wiggle room here? Any way that maybe you guys can push the game up, back, whatever the preferred nomenclature is? And I received no response. So I'm going to go with, we're going to do it next Saturday night. But very excited to start that show and to present it to you on Saturday nights from 10 to midnight.
Now, I would like to say that in, solidarity with you, I would move the date of my show in Warren, but we're going to move ahead with March 3rd.
You are?
Yeah, we're going to stick with March 3rd.
Yeah.
And those tickets at billsquire.com. $20 in advance, $25 the day at the door.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to get them in advance, save a few bucks.
And get back there to Warren, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you think is reasonable to expect people to travel to your show? Because it's not
3 hours walking distance.
Oh, 3 hours to walk.
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't expect anybody 3 hours driving, 3 hours walking. Yeah.
Okay.
You can make that work.
So like a 12-mile radius. I mean, that's not that far,
For walking.
For walking, right.
For walking.
Yeah.
For driving, I would say an hour to
okay.
We'll allow up to 3 hours.
People on average walk about
whatever you want to do. It's going to be a fun show.
Weather permitting.
Yeah.
The walking thing. What do they say? The average person can walk about 4 miles an hour. So walking-wise, you are only giving them a 12-mile radius. Driving-wise, they could conceivably come from a lot farther.
Right.
How far away do you expect people to come? Because you can't have a show if it's just townies from Warren. You got to have people coming from all points.
I mean, there's plenty of places around Warren that I'm sure we'll be pulling from. I'm not familiar exactly with all those other communities. Maybe some Niles people will show up.
Okay.
Maybe some, trying to think of other stuff that's out that way. I mean, if you're in Youngstown, it's not that far away.
Okay.
I don't even think East Palestine's that far away.
Oh, boy. And people are looking for reasons to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you want
I wonder.
to laugh the toxins right out of your body, come
yeah.
see me.
Come laugh
Yeah.
the toxins away with Bill Squire. There isn't even toxic masculinity at a Bill Squire show. So you don't have to worry about that at all. Right? Because
Correct.
you're not woke, is what the...
Bill Squire's amazing.
One of the funniest f***ing guys ever.
He's not woke at all.
At all?
I really want to perform with him at the Romo Fijo.
Kreischer?
Yeah, Kreischer's doing Romo Fijo April 8th. And
Tell him you're not woke. Remind him, because he knows. Remind him you're not
he
woke.
knows.
How amazing is that?
That would be cool.
When is that show?
I believe it's April 8th.
Is that before or after the machine comes out? Because he's going to get a nice...
before.
He's going to get a nice bump once the machine hits.
That's before. I think the machine comes out in May.
Okay.
I think I have a. Sorry if I'm getting off.
No, go ahead.
Topic. I think I have another way to make up for the whole Derek Huff situation, because Pentatonics.
What's the Derek Huff situation?
My mom won't forgive me for.
Oh,
missing out on
okay.
getting her
I just
tickets
wanted
Derek
to
Huff.
remind people. Yeah, a little backstory here.
Yeah, and she's really into Pentatonics for whatever reason.
That's that a cappella group.
Mm-hmm. She loves their Christmas album, and she makes Alexa play all the music from them.
Mom, nobody wants to see Derek Huff. We'll get the tickets.
I saw that they were going on tour, and I asked her, did she want to go? And she said yes. And she's never been to Blossom before, so this is going to be her
Oh, you
first
got a
one.
whole ass to Blossom?
Yeah.
Outdoor a cappella music?
It's not until August, but yeah.
Oof. Okay, well.
I don't know if they're a cappella group, but all their music is not a cappella.
I thought that was their whole hook.
Yeah.
That's how they got famous, but they have legit songs on the radio now.
Okay.
Too.
What song?
I don't know. I don't follow them as much, but my mom does.
And she told you they have songs on the radio?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
listens to them on Alexa, so it's not just they do have that too, but they also have songs with music behind them.
My first exposure to Pentatonics was years ago when we were visiting my parents, and they were watching Pitch Perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to. A movie has never made me so angry as Pitch Perfect. And I know that some people, I know it was a massive hit. I know there's all kinds of nerds that love that stuff. That movie was so terrible. I wanted to pick up my parents' television and throw it through the window of the living room. And I don't even know why it got me so bent out of shape. Just an awful, 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 godforsaken movie of these a cappella teams that are just terrible.
They made 3 of them.
Oh, I know. They were popular movies. I'm not denying that. No way to deny that. They were very successful movies.
But they really couldn't stand on their own 2 feet just because
Good pun.
they have to put so many guest stars in them. One had Snoop Dogg and John Cena and all
listen,
these huge names.
But if you have a hit movie, you're going to have people going, yeah, I'll be in the next one.
Yeah, but it was just like a cameo. So that became the whole shtick of the movie on who was going to pop up randomly with no explanation or anything.
However you get eyeballs. People love cameos, boy.
I guess.
They love uncredited cameos. What's the greatest uncredited cameo of all time? There is only one right answer, but I'll let you see if you can come up with it. The greatest uncredited cameo of all time. I'm talking about in film. The greatest uncredited cameo of all time.
I'm going to say
Devon Sawa at the end of Casper. Nailed it.
I'm going to say Tom Cruise in
Tropic Thunder?
Tropic Thunder, yeah.
I'm sorry, you're both wrong. He was credited in Tropic Thunder, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Spacey in the movie Seven is undeniably the greatest uncredited cameo of all time. I'm sorry, you're both wrong, but that's okay.
I didn't know that was a cameo, considering he felt like such a main character, even though I guess he is really only in the end.
He walks into the police station to turn himself in.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have much to do. They probably shot his scenes in a couple of days. But he was entirely uncredited in that because they didn't want to blow the surprise of his... Because, Kevin Spacey was a big deal back then. And obviously he's been reduced to making Italian independent films now, wearing wigs. But when you're a thespian, you want to work. I might have come across the first case for Cody of Honor, Poundcake's new judge show.
Okay.
We have a lot of bureau chiefs that represent us in the state of Tennessee. And that state, of course, is having its own issues with a variety of things, but it's still a beautiful part of the country. We don't have anybody in Chattanooga, though, which kind of surprised me when I looked it up because it's a big city. There's a woman in Chattanooga who is suing Walmart for $3 million because she was hit by carts. I'm going to show this to you. If you're watching the live stream, you'll see it. The rest of you will just hear it.
On February 23rd of 2020, Christine Christopher was grabbing a grocery cart to go shopping in Walmart. As you can see in the video, she was hit by a group of carts being pushed by an employee. Christopher claims she blacked out for a second.
Now, Poundcake, I want you to watch this especially closely and tell me what the best part of this video is. They will show this clip again of her getting hit. And I want to make sure that we all see the best part of the video.
Okay, remember I'm on a delay, though, in this.
Yeah, that's fine. But you can see what I'm showing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I came back to myself, I realized I had been hit and my legs was...
What? Okay, the delay. What was the best part of the video?
She got hit, and I think her wig fell off.
Her wig comes completely off.
Hell no.
And trampled under the row of carts.
No. You ain't gonna get a big wig. Oh.
Right up. My neck was hurting. My back was hurting. And I was just all messed up.
She filed a lawsuit in hopes of compensation for her injuries.
The lawsuit was filed weeks after this incident happened. But I had a lawyer during that time, but now I'm representing myself in Walmart.
What's that?
Don't represent yourself.
Yeah, again, not a good... This was all pre-COVID, so I don't know what she must have... I don't know why you would say, I'm going to represent myself against Walmart.
Now, we've been going to court, but they've been denying that this ever happened, and they're not Walmart.
Christopher says till this day, she's still dealing with the injuries from the incident and is receiving treatment. She says she's taking medications to help with post-traumatic stress, nightmares, and even to eat. A doctor's note from May of last year shows she was diagnosed with a spinal disease secondary.
Anyway, it goes on and on and on from there. She clearly wants some money from Walmart. She's suing them for $3 million because she figures, I don't know how much I'll get. Maybe she'll get a little bit. But the video itself is fantastic. It absolutely does not look like, again, who knows? You know, her bones could be like pretzels. But boy, she's really trying to stack the deck in her favor with all kinds of things. She can't sleep. She got PTSD. She got neck problems. Well, how heavy was that wig is my question. Maybe she got the neck issues from it being knocked off her head.
I don't know how heavy it is, but her mistake would be not having it sewn down or something. You got to pin it down.
That's what surprised me. I don't know of anyone who just puts a wig on their head.
You always got to be prepared for a bitch to snatch your wig.
She's like a 70-year-old woman. I don't think she's worried that somebody's going to run up and
But that's when incidents like this
grab
happen.
her tracks.
I agree with the fact that she sued for $3 million. I probably would have sued for more because that Yaki number 5 jet black is expensive. And you knocked it off.
Yaki number 5. That's who's helping us tomorrow back there in the video department. Yaki number 5.
The angle of this lawsuit is wrong. It shouldn't be towards her back problems. You got to go with the wig. You got to go with the wig. You know, all the trauma, like people aren't used to seeing me. I used to be a happy-go-lucky person when I have my head full of hair. And then you hit me, you yanked it off, and now all the embarrassment, the trauma, I'm on camera, I have to relive this.
Well,
look at all the pain and suffering.
But I also think that it's weird for somebody who's representing herself that the one thing she doesn't mention is embarrassment, which I think might... Right, but she doesn't mention that, and that would be... Unless she considers that part of her post-traumatic stress disorder. But embarrassment is, there are people that made cases with less than that before. She said that she blacked out, and then when she realized she'd been hit, her legs were all scarred up. Again, I don't know how a row of carts scars your legs. But yeah, the neck, sure. I mean, you're not expecting to get hit in the back like that.
There is a level of empathy for people with hair. I don't know what her... I'm just saying...
Wait. Let's sit with that for a second. There's a level of empathy for people with hair?
Oh, I'm sorry. People with no hair.
With no hair. Okay.
Because people with hair will look at that like, oh, she doesn't have any hair. Like, this is how she goes through her day. And they don't know her condition. They don't know if, she has alopecia. They don't know if she's, just didn't do her hair right. And the people who are there with her, that also wear wigs, they can relate because they're like, oh, hell no. Like, her hair probably wasn't braided. They had no sympathy for this old woman just sitting there. They just saw a poof full of hair and just thought they was like, oh, they gonna knock it off. So it was done with intentional malice. Or is that the same thing?
Malice aforethought, I think, is a legal term you're thinking of. But he's this is great. He's leaning into Code of Honor.
I know.
He's figuring
ready
it out
to go.
here. He is ready to go.
Yeah, she's just
Might
suing
be
for
his
the wrong
karma.
angle. She's suing for the wrong angle. If she wants to get public sympathy, she needs to go with the wig part. And she needs to. What I would have done in that interview, I would have taken it off like, see, you don't understand. You know, look at this wig.
I
This
think
is
if
all
she-
I have. This is my pride.
But here's the problem, is if you get rid of your lawyer, see, your lawyer is going to fight tooth and nail for you for them to settle because your lawyer gets a cut.
Mm-hmm.
In her mind, she's like, well, whatever they settle for, I want all of it. I don't want to end up paying a lawyer out. But that's what's going to screw her because she doesn't know what she's doing. Walmart's like, we're not giving you any money. Walmart sent a 2-sentence statement. We want our customers to have a safe and enjoyable shopping experience. We plan to continue to defend the company. So it's like, that's a statement that says nothing. You know, hey, we want everybody to have fun. Screw yourself. We're not doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
She has another court date set for June 6th. This has been going on since February of 2020.
Yeah, when you're suing for that amount of money, you need a lawyer.
Well, which to Walmart is not, that's no amount of money at all. For Walmart, $3 million?
Yeah,
They probably got that in their pockets walking around.
But when it comes to that, it's big bank take little bank, and they don't. Even though it's not anything to them, they can just say, "Screw you, make us." We're not going to just give you $3 million. If you fight for it, then maybe, because it's no sweat either way. They have lawyers, and even if they will pay it, even if the court says they have to pay it, they can just push it back, because that's the power of a big corporation. They don't have to go to court right away.
But I also
They'll drain your
wonder,
finances.
well, no, these kind of cases never go to court. They settle or whatever. And that's what I would imagine 99% of the people who file these kinds of cases are completely expecting them to settle.
But in order,
she's like, I'm not going to get $3 million. I'll be happy with $100,000.
Yeah, but like even to do that, even to settle, you have to have appointments for. It's either going to go through arbitration or mediation, and either one of those you could push back. Walmart doesn't have to comply. You can't make them comply. So you have to get public pressure on them. And you do that by complaining about my scalp. That's what you do.
He's figuring this all out. He's getting the terms, right?
Like,
what's arbitration?
Arbitration is it's a alternative to going to court. You're
good enough for me.
People
understand that, right?
You're meeting with an arbitrator. It's
kind of a negotiation. Right?
Yeah, right.
Businesses and corporations.
That's right.
Settling outside of court. They don't want to have it because you can have it privately.
That's right.
It doesn't have to have any public knowledge whatsoever.
He's got it here. He's got it. What's the difference between an arbitrator and a mediator?
A mediator is also another alternative to arbitration. It's just mainly you pay for a mediator between both plaintiff and what's the other one? Plaintiff.
You tell me.
What's
the name?
Can agree on. They
plaintiff and what?
Defendant.
Yep.
And it's the middleman. It's the mediator. So it's also another alternative. I think companies can choose which one they want.
Well, arbitration's more formal. Yeah. But man, this is all lining up for him.
I know. I'm impressed.
Maybe the lawyer dropped her. I don't know what it would take for a lawyer to drop a case where they get some scratch from a Walmart settlement, but maybe that's what happened.
He probably wanted to go with the hair angle, and he was like, we have to replay this multiple times on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and people need to feel embarrassed for you. The more embarrassment they feel for you, the more they will push to get you a settlement. Bitch, listen to me. And he's like,
you think the lawyer called her bitch? I mean, that would just be plain rude.
If he's trying to get, I think
that could get you written up by the Bar Association.
A lawyer can call you a bitch.
Why would they do that? You're their client.
It's the power of attorney.
I was like, you're acting bitch-like.
They're working on your behalf.
Bitch, listen to me.
I think that you could probably make your case more forcefully without calling your client a bitch.
Well,
I mean, if they were smart, you're right. They would have shown that piece of video over and over again, not only forwards, but backwards, where the wig goes back on her head.
Yeah.
It comes out from underneath the row of carts, flies up, back on her head. That's how you want to do it. You want to do like...
But to your point, Alan...
Backwards and forwards.
Benny Hill music.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you notice here, my client was in a state of distress, disarray.
But to your point, Alan, the fact that she didn't mention it just shows how embarrassed she actually is, because this actually works in her favor.
But when you're trying to get money from a multinational corporation, pride ain't got nothing to do with it. Being embarrassed, that's the first thing you throw out.
But there is still, it's public. Public is now knowing the ins and outs. Like, listen, I ain't got no hair. I lost my husband because he wanted something to pull on. You know, when he
That's
was
all
back
irrelevant.
there.
But that's irrelevant. He wanted something to pull on.
It's not irrelevant.
Losing your husband in this case is irrelevant.
No, it's not.
All right. I'm testing him, and he's passing with flying colors. This judge show is going to come together.
Where's my gavel?
Maybe you should have been a lawyer, man.
Yeah, lawyer
go back
man.
to law school?
Cody Brown, lawyer man.
Go to law school. Figure this out.
Hey, that's why and it would be like the Diaries of the Helpful Brown. Public defender.
God, could you imagine him in law school?
PCPD.
PD?
Public
defender. Oh, man. Yep. PCJDPD.
Poundcake. I make them gay.
You want to talk about some compelling eyebrows? Look at this guy. All right, I got to break all those Monsters tickets for you. Want to go see your Cleveland Monsters? Get a little hockey under your belt? They're going to be playing the Grand Rapids Griffins 1 week from tomorrow night at Romo Fijo. So if you dig hockey, I'll hook you up coming back. 35192 and a text for anything else, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.
exclusive content and unique items. So enjoy the festive winter weather at iHeartland on Roblox. Head to iHeartRadio.com/iHeartland today.
It's time to give stuff away.
All right, I want to go see your Cleveland Monsters are going to take on the Grand Rapids Griffins 1 week from tomorrow night, March 7th, at the Romo Fijo. If you go to clevelandmonsters.com, you can buy tickets, get all the info, scheduling, and all that. If you want to win them, you'll get 4 tickets from me for Monsters game next Tuesday night. Good luck. Caller 10, these are yours. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Are you trying to make us all uncomfortable?
Alan Cox.
It's gross, it's weird, it's not right, it's not cool.
And there's plenty more where that came from. Back to the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
There you go. Something off of the There I Ruined It Instagram account, which is fantastic. I remain a sucker for a quality mashup. But, you know, Cyndi Lauper is up for nomination into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And she's still really high in the fan vote. Occasionally, when I want to get depressed, I'll log on to rockhall.com and I'll check the current standings of the fan vote for induction into the class of 2023. And George Michael remains at the very top of the voting for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. By about a 12,000, about a 120,000 vote margin.
There you go.
Ahead of Iron Maiden and Soundgarden. And I'm happy to see Warren Zevon is in third place in the fan vote. I thought that he would have been very much a dark horse, but I guess all the Zevon fans are coming out, and that's good news. But to see George Michael and Cyndi Lauper at the very top of the Rock Hall fan votes, and again, I know the terrain in which we're deployed with this, right? It's not something where they're like, you have to prove your rock and roll bona fides before you vote. It's entirely open to the public. And people who love George Michael and or Cyndi Lauper and have no vested interest as to whether or not they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they just like those artists. So George Michael, Cyndi Lauper, Warren Zevon, Soundgarden, and Iron Maiden. And again, I reiterate, Soundgarden and Iron Maiden are very far behind those top two. And whoever wins the fan vote gets an extra ballot in the voting. So it's not like it's entirely
up to that.
Yeah, it's not like that swings anything wildly one way or the other. The very bottom of the fan vote is Tribe Called Quest. They have a little over 62,000 votes. Rage is near the bottom. White Stripes near the bottom. Willie Nelson, Joy Division, Kate Bush, and Sheryl Crow just outside that top 5. Somebody wrote an article about why George Michael should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I won't lie to you, I like George Michael a lot. I was a fan when he was alive. I had nothing against George Michael. I just can't really get my head around him being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When, I don't know. But I did not read that article about someone making a case for George Michael being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I guess their reasons were that he dominated pop music, which he was a gifted songwriter and performer.
He wore a leather jacket. That's pretty rock and
He
roll.
wore leather jackets. He had a lot of models in his
sunglasses.
videos.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's definitely the sex and drug part.
Yeah. And he was an activist and a philanthropist. Again,
He held a guitar.
I guess I don't know what if those are things that are relevant. It seems to be a sliding scale for people who are inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You're looking for superstars, I guess. At the end of the day, you're looking for people who are going to get eyeballs on the telecast because most people are not at the event. And so, again, I understand, what the priorities are.
That dude was legendarily horny.
George Michael?
Yeah.
Well, everybody made fun of him because he got caught at like a rest stop or something trying to do some stuff. Back in the
That's a pretty
day,
horny thing to do.
Back in the day, highway rest stops, boy.
I was like, it's very common.
Pre-social media, highway rest stops were like the go-to spot for dudes on the low.
I was gonna say some people still get the street meat. Like I don't understand.
But especially if you're
People
George
act
Michael, he had the money that he could just been like.
He was on the DL, Bill.
He could have still been DL in his house.
No, you can't, because he probably didn't live there by himself. If you were as big a star as he was back then,
How do you know I wasn't?
if you were as big of a star as he was back then,
It really stopped him in his tracks for a second.
he probably had people around him all the time.
No, but also back then, nobody was
secret.
back then nobody was going to blow you up on social media. Even if somebody couldn't
they'll
keep
extort you.
But even if somebody couldn't keep a secret, all they had to do was go to the tabloids. That's all you had. And you'd go, nope, that guy's lying. And the tabloid would buy their story because it was salacious and they'd give them some money. But you could easily go, that's what all these guys did. They're like, nope, that guy's lying. There was no 1,000 points of light on social media where somebody could blow you up day and night.
But that's why I'm saying he was so legendarily horny, because he could have done these things on the DL, but still done them in a way where he's not going to get in trouble with the police. When you're going to a rest stop, that's part of what you like about it.
He wanted a lot lizard.
Yeah, he liked the dangerous aspect of it. He liked that dirtiness.
Ugh, man.
But wasn't
that's
he also?
brave.
But he was no stranger to substance abuse too, right? He was doing all that stuff.
Yeah, he was a party
That's
boy.
usually part and parcel of that. Nobody kind of currently in their right mind goes, I'm going to pull over and do a wide stance off the Jersey Turnpike. It's always something that's got you all up in a froth.
That's brave, dude. Glory holes and stuff like that. That I need to see who I am with. I don't want to take a chance on it. I don't know if
Take a chance.
I'm just saying I don't know if my karma is waiting for me on the other side of that hole. I am. There's no way.
Karma on the other side of a glory hole?
Like I'm just gonna put it in there and just trust that the person on the
Possibly
on the
another
other side.
Judge name show. Karma on the other side of the hole.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's trust issues right there. I need to see. Like you got to poke your head through. Nope.
Well, because part of it was like in the 80s, especially, I mean, just gay men in general, but especially celebrities were, even so there was no social media, they were worried about being outed because everybody was talking about AIDS. Everybody thought that every gay guy had AIDS. And so it was less about the truck stop stuff and more about having AIDS attached to your name. And a lot of that spilled over into the 90s. So I don't know with George Michael. I always think that he's been dead longer than he has. He died on Christmas 2016. That's not that long ago.
Right.
I feel like I always think he's been dead for like 10 years or something. But it was almost, it's going to be 25 years next month that he got popped in the men's room there in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
So
in
not the
Will
Jersey
Rogers
Turnpike.
Memorial Park, yeah.
Not the Jersey Turnpike. He was still in Beverly Hills. He thought maybe I'll get a higher class of karma on the other side of that hole. So there were probably good and bad parts of living that life prior to social media.
Yeah, so he was like, in the article that I'm reading, people knew he was gay within the music industry, and he had a regular lover that he'd be
a regular.
And we all saw the Wham videos.
Yes.
No one thought that
No one was
George Michael.
surprised.
Yes. They're like, what? He's got a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
No one paying attention thought that George Michael was a straight dude.
So that just goes more into he was frothed up, and he's like, I need something now, and I need it to be wild. So I'm gonna go to the park and see what I can put in my mouth.
What's in my mouth, right? Like all those morning shows in the 80s. Hey, let's play What's in My Mouth, man. Yeah. With George Michael, celebrity guest on the phone, we're going to play What's in My Mouth, man.
Michael's arrest is part of a routine check of the bathrooms at Will Rogers Memorial Park in the upscale area across from Beverly Hills Hotel.
A routine
So he's
check.
across the hotel from a hotel Details aren't made public. He is arrested by a plainclothes officer who says Michael was aware he was being observed and performed the act in an area of the restroom visible to anyone who entered. He is fined $810 and sentenced to 80 hours of community service.
Yeah.
So he wanted people to see, like, he was...
But how is that punishment? Because he was across the street already trying to service the public.
Yeah, right?
In his own community outreach.
Yeah, community service starts right now.
It was community outreach around is what he was trying to do. And you're going to punish him for that? Come on. But you're right. He didn't want anybody knowing where his hotel room was.
Right.
He went across the street. He could have been in the bathroom of a Stuckey's if that had been across the street.
When I hooked up with that dude in Jamaica, I went to his room. I didn't want him to come to mine.
Right. Well, yeah, but you're still in the same hotel. You're going to pass him in the breakfast line or whatever.
But we're on completely different wings.
That's not exact. Yeah, but you're in the same hotel. That's not exactly keeping it on the. You're not Perry the Platypus running around behind a plant.
That was a huge resort. And when you have a resort that size, you can go places and not cross paths.
But you did cross paths with him.
Well, that's because he was stalking me. But that was something totally different. Normally, if a
he's
normal
sitting there
person,
sipping his mango juice at breakfast, and this guy's like, hiding behind a ficus. Hoping to get a little more something. Wow, this guy. Well, anyway, George Michael.
Put him in the Rock Hall. He's earned it.
Yeah, listen, if he gets in, listen, nothing but love. It's just anytime those names come up, I'm like, really? Is Blue Oyster Cult in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What did Poundcake call him? The Blue Oyster Connection?
BCC.
BOC? The Blue Oyster Connection is what he called them. And put them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You see who got arrested again? Friend of the show, although he'd been on farther back than I thought. Our buddy Wes Scantlin.
Oh.
From Puddle of Mud. He'd been on the show because I have no concept of time. COVID carved a lot out. Wes Scantlin was on the show. We were at Oak Tree, October of 21. I thought it was last fall, but it was the fall before. He came in and did the show, kind of last minute, but he was in town. Puddle of Mud was playing the Odeon. And he came in and sat down with us, and we had a fine chat. I like Wes Scantlin. I had met him before, but it was many, many years before. And so I thought, well, maybe he's in a different frame of mind, because this was a guy who was like famously always getting into trouble. He was screaming at the crowd, or he was fighting haters, or he was, singing a cappella songs just terribly.
Easy friend, I do, with the head to hand, I do, think you fit this shoe, I do, but you have a clue.
Very.
Maybe he was singing that on his porch, and they picked him up. No, again, nothing awful. I mean, he got picked up on a trespassing charge, but they found him skulking around a house in Hollywood that he had lost to foreclosure.
Aww.
Like on a Monday morning. So maybe there was something inside that he forgot that he didn't have. I don't know. A woman on TikTok, it's always TikTok. A woman on TikTok claimed that a famous rock singer showed up to her house. She was living there now.
That's all she knows him as, famous rock singer. I don't know your name, but I know you're a famous rock singer.
Probably because it's what he told her. Hey, I'm a famous rock singer. Wes Scantlin. She's like, I don't know who you are. So he goes to her house. She's living there now and refuses to leave. He said he's going to camp outside, threatened her maid, and was arrested because they found out that he had some kind of other order already against him. So Wes Scantlin, listen, when we met him, I thought I was talking to a changed man. I'm happy to report, not so much. He's still the same old Wes. He bought the house for $1.7 million about 15 years ago and then lost it to foreclosure.
Oof.
And then apparently destroyed the place. You know, that was a thing, too, when people were losing their homes back in, like, the housing meltdown, 08, 09, around there. People were leaving their houses, and they're spreading crap on the walls and just destroying them, you know, for anybody who might want to come along and buy it. And then he's been back to the house a couple of times, broke through a window, pulled an alarm system out of the wall, all kinds of stuff.
He's got a song that he wrote in there. He's like, I know there's a song. It's gonna put me back at the top of the charts, and the notebook that it's written in is in that house, and I gotta find it. That's why
I thought
he
you
keeps
meant
going back and breaking in. Yeah.
I thought you meant writing a song about all of his attempts to break into his old house.
Maybe that'll be it. But I think there's something in his mind that he's like, there's something in that house that I still need.
Yeah. Well, I hate to break it to you, but they already did it. Bare Naked Ladies already did The Old Apartment. And that breaking in their old... I broke into The Old Apartment.
Yeah. Good song. It's a good song.
Huh?
Good song.
Well, I know how you feel about Bare Naked Ladies.
I'm a big fan.
Here's the best Bare Naked Ladies song. Yep. That's as much as I can enjoy of them.
You can stomach, but I enjoy them quite a bit.
So, yeah, he got popped at LAX for having a gun in his bag and all that kind of stuff. So he's still getting into trouble.
I feel like you want.
But he's out there and he's playing music and what?
I feel like you want to get in trouble if you're in LAX with some contraband, because it's one of the busiest airports in the world.
Yeah, but it's also amazing what people say they forgot they had in their bag.
Do you think they're telling the truth when they say that, though?
That's the trouble, especially with guns in this country, is because guns are so prevalent that I think people legit, they have so goddamn many of them. They go, oh, I didn't know. Yeah, right. They just, I don't even think it's anybody lying or pretending. You see that wall of weapons at Hopkins.
Meanwhile,
they're like, oh, we got ninja stars off this guy. You know, this proud display there under plexiglass of all the things that they've confiscated from people over the decades. It's bananas.
Meanwhile, I'm getting a third degree and strip searched in Miami.
They did what to him?
Huh?
You said it wrong.
I'm sorry, coffin skated.
Thank you.
All the things that they've coffin skated from people over the years.
Coffin skated.
That's right. All the things that have been confiscated from their people out there at Hopkins.
Coffin skated.
Uh-huh. So our buddy Wes Scantlin, again, we hope that you can get things together. You know, the guy has at least one kid. And, I mean, that kid now is probably, college age. Puddle of Mudd is a band that's been around for 30-plus years. And he's the only original member because he probably drove everybody off one by one. You know, he's a guy that the band's got some name recognition. They had more hits than people remember. And so, if you're a journeyman musician, you go, hey, want to go on tour with Puddle of Mudd? You're going to go, yeah. Make a few bucks. You're in a band that people know. You can still sell tickets. At this point, because you're not sure if the guy's going to flip out on stage. But whatever. They their last album came out about a year or so before he was on this show. I don't know if it sold, but he's been picked up again.
He's on the list of the hottest people that have been in studio here.
Is he?
One of our guests. Yeah, he's not.
Do you think Wes Scantlin's a hot guy?
Yeah, he's good looking. Yeah, he's on the list.
Who else is on that list?
Most of the guys have been on Chelsea lately.
John
Frangiola.
Frangiola, whatever his name
John
is.
Caparulo. Yeah, Chris Frangiola is a good-looking dude.
And then the one that Mary just hung out with not too long ago, he was on our show.
Eric Griffin.
Yeah.
Who did Mary hang out
she's
with?
thinking of
Jeff Dye?
Jeff Dye, yeah, he was in here too.
Jeff Dye is
probably
a
number
good-looking
one.
guy in any situation, right? Not just for being a comedian. He's a good-looking dude.
I was like,
Phil Hanley.
Phil Hanley.
He was a male model.
Yeah.
Right.
who was Jeff Hanley?
Phil Hanley,
Phil Hanley.
comedian who was just here, was a male model.
Okay.
Before comedy.
Oh, okay.
And also Blake Hammond.
And also Blake Hammond, sure. They call him the George Michael of Cincinnati because he's so attractive. I've got to take another break. If you'd like to send a text, 35192 to do that. If you want to watch, AlanCoxShow.com is where you want to do it. And you can listen all throughout North America on the iHeartRadio app.
Rover's Morning Glory.
Peter, you had an incident with Jeffrey in the bathroom at the
Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The Buzzard.
The home of the Buzzard.
This is 100.7 WMMS. Cleveland. Call the Alan Cox Show.
Girls, this is your opportunity right here. A nice boy, let me tell you that.
216-578-1007 or 1-800-348-1007.
You see Jack White on SNL? Did a good job.
Falling off on SNL this year. I used to watch it pretty regularly. And
I'm with you, yeah.
I have not kept up with it.
Yeah, I still go back to it and watch it whenever. If there's like a host, a lot of times, the last couple of seasons, they've been kind of going, I think, more for like a TikTok crowd or something. So
Yeah, a younger crowd. But I also, I'll catch at least like a sketch or something on YouTube or Instagram or something. And the past couple weeks, I haven't really been showing up. But I was like Jack White live.
Jack White and Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson was the host.
That's the TikTok crowd, all right.
They are, but they are both part of the Five Timers Club. They make a big deal about this over on SNL, or they normally do. You know, the Five Timers Club, people who have been the musical guest 5 times, which Jack White has. People who've been the host the 5 times. You know, they used to roll out people and they'd give them this crushed velvet 5 Timers Club jacket. It was Steve Martin and Tom Hanks and Tina Fey and Martin Short and all these people who've been at. Paul Rudd is a recent addition to the 5 Timers Club, and Woody Harrelson. And people were like, they didn't do that bit because they probably couldn't get all those people in one room to do the 5 Timers Club bit. And the other thing that people were crowing about or whatever is that Woody Harrelson, they were like, he did an anti-vaxxer monologue. Did you see any of Woody Harrelson's?
No, I didn't see any of it.
Okay, first of all, Woody Harrelson I think Woody Harrelson's great. Well, right. He calls himself like a redneck hippie, right? Just because people smoke a lot of pot doesn't mean that they're like ultra liberal or whatever, right? He's kind of like Matthew McConaughey, where they're like purple in their politics. They're redneck hippies. You know, Woody Harrelson lives out in Hawaii or whatever. McConaughey's doing the bongos when he's naked, whatever. It doesn't mean that these guys are all coming from the same place. And so he told a joke in the monologue, which I don't think it really got much. I think people weren't sure where he was going. But all of the stories on Sunday morning were like, Woody Harrelson's terrible anti-vaxxer, what outs himself as an anti-vaxxer. I'm like, let's not get ahead of ours. Yeah, right. This is not new news if you have heard Woody Harrelson. You know, a lot of people came out of the woodwork during the pandemic and might have had some different opinions of things than you would have expected.
So the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who is going to believe that crazy idea, being forced to do drugs? I do that voluntarily all day long.
Right. So everybody got their undies in a bunch over that. But Woody Harrelson, it's got to be tough for celebrities whose whole hook was weed. Mm-hmm. Now that weed is so prevalent and legal in a lot of places, they still really want you to know that they were like way out in front on weed for some reason, like Woody Harrelson. Bill Maher is another one like that. I love Bill Maher, but boy, does he want you to know he smokes weed. Snoop's in another category because
Snoop doesn't even have to tell you. He's become that brand ambassador. You think?
Yes.
That's like thinking of Coke with a polar bear. Like they just go together.
Coke with a polar bear.
It's like Christmas commercials.
Yeah. Not Cocaine Bear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
The Christmas commercials with the Coca-Cola polar bears. So yeah, Woody Harrelson getting the lion's share of the Sunday morning commentary from one joke on SNL. They did a funny sketch, I thought, where they were christening a new military submarine, but it was a submarine that had been named by a public poll. Mm. So they were like, sir, yes, sir, we're on the USS Dingleberry or whatever. Dingleberry von Dingleberry. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, on the app from outside Ohio, thank you for doing that because it's not always easy to do. But make sure that you tell me where you are because I like to keep a running list of our bureau chiefs. Ray's up there in Vancouver. He's one of our Canadian bureau chiefs. Kirk listens in Austin, Texas. Robin's in Toronto. Todd's out in Phoenix. Wendy listens in Covina, California. And we have about 12 bureau chiefs in the fine city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And a couple of them pointed out to me that for Pittsburgh residents, today is the 15th anniversary of the death of Myron Cope. Now, I would imagine, being an adjacent state, that even people in Ohio, even Steelers haters, know who Myron Cope was. He was a longtime voice of the Steelers. He was the yoy and double yoy guy. That guy, Myron Cope, that guy. People who live out in Youngstown way. You know, once you get into Steeler country part of Ohio, those people were very enamored of Myron Cope. Old school, did Steelers games for 35 years. So my entire tenure in Pittsburgh was Myron Cope territory. And he was, in person, it could be very off-putting because he was tiny and very jittery, and but he knew what he was doing. And he's been dead now 15 years today. Alan, Woody Harrelson's father was a hitman. Yeah, his dad was like in prison, right? Woody Harrelson's dad was a convicted murderer that was doing like a life sentence or something. Alan, that Cologuard sketch made me think of you. They do it was an SNL commercial where Woody Harrelson has got Cologuard boxes coming up on his step and trying to get him to take a dump in them. They're talking to him, and the neighbors across the street can't figure out if he's having an episode or what's going on there. But I like Woody Harrelson, you know. I don't care what, he's got thoughts on things, and who cares? He's doing his thing, living out there in Hawaii. But yeah, that I didn't realize that was news to people. That those were his thoughts on the pandemic. Alan, I'm liberal as hell, but I'm completely with Woody on that one. It's really stupid that vaccine became political. I don't know that that's what he was saying, but whatever. You can leave us messages on that app, by the way, whether you listen in or out of state. You can always leave us talkback messages on the app.
Hey, Alan, you guys need to have, like, a trigger warning before you play videos from, like, the drunk guy leaving the scene of an accident where he killed somebody and gets tackled, and hearing the guy screaming at him and then hearing the horn in the background, knowing that that man is probably dead over the steering wheel with his entire family in the car. It's like super disturbing. So just maybe a trigger warning or a little heads up would be great next time.
Well, I think when you set up a video and say, hey, I'm going to play this video where this is happening, isn't that kind of, stopping short of saying trigger warning.
I went back and listened because I was like, well, I want people to enjoy the program, and I'm always trying to perfect the way I do things, and so I went back and listened to that segment. See the video of the guy that tried to stumble away from the drunk driving accident that ended up killing a couple of people?
Oh, no.
Okay, so this happened about a year ago, but it's back in the news because they gave the guy 15 years in prison. This is Fort Worth, Texas. This is a guy, Dylan Molina is the guy's name, and somebody was just there right after he hit another car. That car happened to have an off-duty local cop and his family in it, and I think the cop died. And somebody was just standing there filming the immediate aftermath of this crash, and you see the guy kind of stumble. You see the car, which is like a Jeep, like totaled. Well, anyway, I go on longer than that. So if 40 seconds of me setting up a video is not enough of a trigger warning for you, I don't know what to tell you. I had to go back because I was like, maybe I did just jump into it, right? That might be a little unfair. I went from there. I don't know what you're talking about. I couldn't have set it up longer.
It sounds like she wants
That's my way of telling you, hey, there's something coming that FYI.
It sounds like she wants the very specific trigger warning.
Well, I'm never going to utter the words trigger warning on this show.
But
gotcha, I will.
Gotcha. You just did.
But
got him. Trigger warning.
I walked right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell you're talking about if, yeah. So anyway, yes. Hey, Mike in Lakewood. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What up?
Not much. Speaking of Myron Cope, what?
Myron Cope.
Yeah. Yes, I do not use a bidet. I use a terrible towel.
Yeah, I see what he's doing. A terrible towel.
Boom.
Oh, yoy, a double yoy. Use a bidet on your terrible
He's the one who
towel.
created that.
You son of a bitch.
And now it's
Zinger.
Zinga. Thank you, Mike. Now it's what?
What are the colors of Baldwin Wallace colors?
Oh, black and yellow.
No, brown and yellow.
Are they brown and yellow?
Yeah, they're brown and yellow.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I heard from a former friend of mine, a former coworker, that I hadn't heard from in many, many years. He was a friend I kind of lost in the fallout of my divorce. But he's in the business, and he has been for a long time. And I haven't seen him since his kids were little, but they're all grown up, and he's like, one of them is at Baldwin Wallace. He's not local. And he's like, one of them's at Baldwin Wallace. It's like, wow. All right. Again, I have no concept of time, so it should have occurred to me that his kids were the same age as my older children, both of whom were in college. But I still think of people as having, like, little kids. I don't know why that is. It just is. Hold on, I'm a burp. Hold on.
Get it. It's not
Oh,
gonna happen.
no, that's not it. Nope. I'll tell you who's not going to be belching on air. These AI DJs that they're rolling out. Have you read any of the articles about the AI DJs?
I have not. They're actually rolling these out?
Well, there's a company that we work with on some things, and they're rolling out an AI DJ program. Now, this isn't something that would affect a program like this, although these can only get better. So it's probably only a matter of time before the SmarmBot 5000 takes my job. But in the meantime, it's an opportunity for companies that want to fire every last DJ they have and just replace them with a robot. It will give them the opportunity to do that. And, of course, they sell it as they do any other thing. Oh, this is an amazing ability for radio stations to blah, blah, take advantage of cutting-edge technology. All companies care about is how soon can I fire all of my human DJs and plug this in? I think it probably still has a ways to go. I pulled a couple of clips if you'd like to hear them. There's already a big broadcasting company in Canada that has signed up to use these, and a couple of American companies have signed up to use them to boot. And if you'll notice, boy, it is very lifelike. That's all anybody's talking about now is AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
People found out that you couldn't exactly use ChatGPT to write your term papers since, got a little racist. So who knows if the radio AI will get racist down the road.
I mean, it'd be true to most stations of why they have to fire somebody.
Yeah.
I can give away prizes, tickets, and exclusive experiences to listeners through on-air contesting.
By the way, it doesn't even know the difference between contesting and contesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's strike one. But this is the AI voice that's selling you on, here's how we're going to, you don't need human DJs, right? Again, for now, they're talking about people that are just telling you what songs you heard. Maybe it'll be a matter of time before 2 hours to midnight is done by 3 AI robots. Before it even gets off the ground, perhaps will be replaced. Who knows?
I can give away prizes, tickets, and exclusive experiences to listeners through on-air contesting. I am skilled at creating unique and entertaining breaks that keep your audience engaged and coming back for more.
So just like a real human would talk.
Yeah.
And they can hit the post and everything, right?
Probably, sure. Yeah. And, people in our line of work like to get all smarmy and they go, well, they can't replace what I do. Everything can replace what we do. The technology might not be there yet, but companies are salivating at the prospect of going, this is going to be amazing. Because the way you sell this is not just the voice with the AI, but they're like, it can constantly be collating information. So it can be taking in social media posts in the air, whatever, right? Geotag stuff.
I just want them I want the AI to do like the DJ cliches, like when they're introducing a song, like coming up, we have a new joint, or
right, try to get the lingo.
A new joint.
Right. Well, I'll play you a little clip of a little chat in between songs, because part of it is you have to convince people that this is better than a real person, and they have to be funny. Right?
Let's hear it.
Holy traffic violations, Batman.
In just 1 year, Springfield has raked in $10 million with all of the traffic intersection cameras. These new camera locations now snap a picture of each car and driver at most red lights in town.
Slow down and say cheese.
That's Satan.
Jeez, that's not good at all.
Wow.
Holy traffic violations, Batman.
They didn't even hit the post.
Well, whatever.
They didn't even hit the post.
But this is step one, right? This is step one.
Dude, that's pretty good. I don't know what you're talking about, but that's scary.
Can you hit the post on that Hall & Oates song?
Can I?
Yeah.
I'm sure I can. You make my dreams come true. Yeah. You make my dreams come true.
Make my dreams come true.
So it will be
song.
interesting to see how many industries are turned upside down or displaced by this kind of technology. Again, this is ground floor stuff, and it'll only get better.
What am I going to do? I told my mom I was going into broadcasting because I wanted a stable career.
Well, listen, homie, I think that the window, because of something like this, the window is closing or has closed maybe on you going somewhere and getting a job. Because you'd start out talking up music, and they don't need people doing that anymore. So for anybody who's not in the content lane that we are, I'd be letting out some panic farts.
And I think we're all safe, too, because our intelligence is artificial.
It's wholly artificial. You're going to outdo... you think a robot can make fart jokes? I mean... So, people in this industry want to hang their hats on the... Well, you can't replace the human touch. It's like there's a lot of people that aren't looking for the human touch. There's a lot of people that,
AI's not going to be like, oh, George Michael went to the park to see what he can put in his mouth and go, oh.
That's right.
They'll nail the live reads, though.
Yeah.
But they're not live reads because they're not alive.
Oh, boy.
And then that's going to go to courts.
Oh, it's the not alive reads.
Yeah, it's the not alive reads. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you got a point.
And what?
Holy glory holes, Batman. Poundcake will make them gay.
Yeah, a robot telling you to get breakfast from Wendy's. Why would you listen to a robot? You want to listen to
You don't eat robot?
You want to listen to a person that's had Wendy's. You don't.
It's
a
like,
robot doesn't know what Wendy's tastes like.
Want to get ripped? Go to Orange Theory Fitness.
Yeah. I had Wendy's yesterday.
Hey, nice. Do you have breakfast or just regular?
No. It was after my daughter's soccer practice. There was a Wendy's right next door.
Wendy's is good.
And she's big and she just learned about the fries and the Frosty.
That's a classic.
I've been eating
not for me, but
so naughty. I've been so bad.
Oh.
For like a week, I haven't gone grocery shopping, so I was back to the classic pound cake where I just ate whatever I wanted and did Uber Eats.
While you're doing the transformation challenge?
Well, I didn't go grocery shopping, so that's all I had to eat. I didn't necessarily... Yeah, I was eating bad. I'm trying to justify
it's your body. No, listen,
there's no way I can justify it because there are plenty of times where I could have gone grocery shopping. I was like, nah, I don't want to.
See, this is
I'm taking a week off.
But this is the pitfall of people who work out, right? They start to see some changes and they go, I look pretty good. I'm going to reward myself with junk. Don't fall into that trap. It's a trap.
And if you're going to reward yourself, don't use junk. Use something good.
Why wouldn't you reward yourself with a smoothie?
Because a
some
shamrock
spinach
shake.
and some
shamrock
shake.
I had to get a shamrock shake.
What are you, 8?
Yes.
They're so disappointing. I haven't had a good.
No, they're not.
No, they are. I haven't had a good one in a while.
I haven't had a shamrock shake since I was 10 years old.
Oh my God, you have no joy in life.
I have lots of joy. It's just not primarily derived from food.
in food coloring.
I have lots of joy in my life.
My snacking.
I'm told that I have lots of joy in my life. I don't know.
My snacking has become so noticeable that the lady, the custodian out there, she's like, going to get a snack every time I see her in the hallway. I'm like, just go to the bathroom. She's like, no, you about to get a snack. I know. I see every day. Every day you get a snack.
She's calling you out.
Every day. She called me out in front of Mary. Like, whenever Mary's out there, she's like, every time she sees me, she always says, did your boy get a snack yet? I'm like, what? Wow. Can I get a snack?
Did your boy get a snack yet?
Says every time I see him, he like this or like this coming from the vending machine.
But what's a huge part of any workout program? Accountability. That's everyone's favorite word when they're working out. I need accountability. It turns out the accountability is coming from the cleaning lady shaming you.
I can have a snack.
No one's saying you can't.
What
but
snack
apparently,
do you have?
yeah, what are you grabbing?
I get a Reese cup.
Because I see her every day. Why don't you just buy a bag of Reese cups? Because
they're probably $5 for 2 of them in that vending machine.
Yeah.
Well, I only get one, and then I might get like a Gatorade or something.
They sell single Reese cups.
It comes
Reese's
2 in a pack.
cups, huh?
Comes 2 in a pack.
Yeah, like you get from the
Yeah,
gas
so 2.
station.
That's probably $5 out of that machine, isn't it?
Oh, it's like $1.
No, there's no way.
It's like $1.
These are full
something.
Reese's cups, full size.
No, I said there's 2 Reese cups in them.
Yes, full size.
Yes,
for $1.
It's $1. It's like $1.35 or something like that.
Everything in there's like $2.80.
No, it's not.
Wow,
it's
all
not
right.
$2.
All right.
It's $1.35 is still expensive.
Did you
I'll
get
take
one
your
today?
word for it.
Yes, I got.
Did you use your card?
Yes.
Look on your bank statement. See what it charged you.
I know how much it is.
Well, it says right on the machine.
I got our little remnants and the little wrappers here. I get 2.
Yes, you can absolutely have snacks. No one's saying you can't.
Yeah, I was just naughty this week. I just had a real naughty week.
Oh, a naughty boy.
Yeah, I did because I didn't go grocery shopping. So then I had to order breakfast, and then it was Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A always gets me. So then I had to order Chick-fil-A for lunch because I was like, I'm not going to reorder. So I just ordered lunch and dinner, breakfast and lunch. And then I think I had like some broccoli or something for dinner last week. But no, this weekend, ate horrible.
Chick-fil-A. Well, listen.
They get me, man. Chick-fil-A
They do get you, don't they? They really do get you.
It's just not fair. It's not fair that people want me to just give up a passion because someone's bigoted views. I got
What
family members.
people?
I don't know. People just get mad at me because I have Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I see, because of the gay thing.
Yeah.
You're supposed to boycott Chick-fil-A because you're gay.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. I believe in love.
I understand.
I want to bring you to the other side.
But you want to taste the hate.
Yeah.
Your love for Chick-fil-A comes with a side of hate.
Honestly, I love that they stand in their convictions. Or like they know how much it outrages people, but they say we stand by our product so much that the gays are still going to want to eat it even though we're actively voting against them. That's some good chicken. That is some good chicken. You are standing by your product.
I think they're missing out by not having you do their commercials.
They don't need to. That's the thing. They're like, we don't need a pound cake. No, pound cake's
Hey, guys, I'm a notable gay, and you know how good this chicken is? It's so good that I'll never stop eating it.
I'm giving up my future.
Yeah. And that's at the corporate level, by the way. It's not like the people working there every day at Chick-fil-A
Even if it
get a
wasn't.
rat's ass about people's sexual orientation.
Even if they threw the chicken into my car, like, take it. I'm like, thank you, sir. Can I have another?
This guy.
It's chicken.
Wow.
So good. And I was talking to somebody in the kitchen about it because I said out of the 3 chicken sandwiches, they got the Popeyes and the KFC. They're all good. But Chick-fil-A's, it's not necessarily the taste, it's the texture.
Ow!
It's the texture when you bite into it. It's not too crunchy, not too soft. It's just perfect. It's like a kiss. It's kissing you on the inside.
Oh, it's kissing you on the inside. Who wants to be kissed on the inside?
I do.
Oh.
And it's smothered in Chick-fil-A sauce.
All right. Well, listen.
Kissed on the inside.
Right? That's how he feels about it. Okay. I've got to take a break. Hey, I'll have Brit Floyd tickets for you. They're celebrating 50 years of The Wall. These guys have been doing it for a long time, too. So I'll have those coming back for you. 35192 and a text for anything else.
The Alan Cox Show. On our free iHeartRadio app. Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Hey! Teachers! Lick salon! All in our dista, I know they breaking the wall.
Boy, that Brit Floyd show is going to be amazing. I think that's their longtime frontman there. And if you strike out with me, I got Brit Floyd tickets for you all this week. If you strike out, go to WMMS.com at the contest page, and you can try to win them there, too. Most of the shows that I give away tickets for on the air, you can go to our contest page and usually find them there. I did want to mention tomorrow, because we have a couple of our compatriots that are going to be on site. Tomorrow is the 2023 Harvest for Hunger campaign. You ever been out there for Harvest for Hunger?
Yeah, I've done it a few
Have
times.
you? On site. Bloom Daddy, who's over there at WTAM, and our buddy Jeremiah from Kiss FM are going to be on site for this thing tomorrow. On site. They do the Supermarket Challenge. And for people who want to donate, I believe you can go to harvestforhunger.org. But the whole thing begins tomorrow. The Greater Cleveland Food Bank. A new location over on Coit Road. And this is to raise food and funds for needy families. And so it's a collaboration of all the food banks in Northeast Ohio. So Harvest for Hunger kicks off tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And if you want to donate or be part of it, go to harvestforhunger.org for all of the details. Let me play this for you, because I think this is what we're looking at. I was talking about the AI radio that's going to be rolling out.
This is the DJ3000. It plays CDs automatically, and it has 3 distinct varieties of inane chatter.
Hey, how about that weather out there? Whoa, that was the caller from hell. Well, hot dog, we have a wiener.
Man, that thing's great. Don't praise the machine.
If you don't get that kid an elephant by tomorrow, the DJ3000 gets your job.
Looks like those clowns in Congress did it again. What a bunch of clowns.
How's he keep up with the news like that?
Yeah, the DJ3000. That's when Bart got an elephant. It's old Simpsons. We were just clicking through some old episodes and just came across that one the other day. So very exciting. Cavaliers are off. They're coming off a big win against Toronto here at home last night. 118-93 was the final against the Raptors. They're going to be in Boston Wednesday night, play the Celtics, and then back here at home on Saturday to play the Pistons. Saturday was going to be the premiere of our new metal show called 2 Hours to Midnight, but we're going to kick that can down the road a week because we don't want to get cut. We don't want the Cavs game cutting into us. So me, Corey Roddick, Pat Butler will be your hosts March the 11th. And I'd like to tell you every single Saturday, but with sports on Saturday nights, we certainly didn't want our first episode to get cut into. So we're planning on it being most Saturdays. But we're very much looking forward to it. We'll begin that on Saturday, March the 11th at 10 o'clock, as the name implies. This Friday night, however, if you're looking for something to do, let's say, I'm going to throw a dart at a mental map here and just say Warren, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything going on in Warren, Ohio? I mean, I know there always is.
Yeah.
It's Warren, of course.
And there's always drugs.
But Friday night.
But Friday night, you can do drugs and also come watch me do stand-up comedy. Which
So
is
it's
like
not
a
an either-or
Yeah,
situation.
you can do both.
Okay.
You can do both. I'll be at the Underground Lounge that is underground of the Best Western Hotel right there in downtown Warren. The show starts at 8 p.m. You can get tickets by going to billsquire.com. They are $20 in advance, $25 at the door. So if you like to save a little bit of money, I would suggest getting them in advance. And it's going to be a great show.
I think it would be fantastic for a place called the Underground Lounge to be above ground. because people aren't looking for stairs or anything.
Right.
And it's a little fun trick.
It's a little. Oh, look at that! Even better than putting it underground, or put it like
ground level, second floor.
Make it the penthouse. Make it the top bar, like a rooftop bar.
Mm-hmm. See, Mike DeWine hurt himself in East Palestine.
Patting himself on the back.
Mike DeWine dislocated a shoulder, patting himself on the back. No, he fractured his fibula. Where's the fibula?
He do be fibbing a lot.
Yeah, babe. Get that DJ 3000. We have
You'll
a
never
wiener.
take my job.
What? Take that, radio AI. Where's the fibula, Poundcake? He's not still getting a winner, is he?
I think he is.
Oh. All right, then. See if he knows. Anyway, Mike DeWine fractured his fibula there while he was, I don't know what he was doing specifically, other than his gubernatorial duties, I guess. A displaced fibula fracture while walking down the steps of a church. Oh, my God. He's got to wear a boot for a while and the whole thing. The chemicals are already destroying bone density. He's in that guy's kitchen taking a sip of that water. And then he gets a bone fracture not long after? I mean, coincidence? Don't tell me. Michael DeWine. I guess he's otherwise okay, but, he's so tiny. People boy, if you watch any of the coverage of what's still happening out there and the weird symptoms that people who live in and around that town say that they're having, it's terrifying. Wade Lovett is a guy who's been having trouble breathing since the derailment. Did you see this clip of the guy sounds like he sucked a helium balloon?
No.
His contention is that the chemicals have messed with his vocal cords. And there was a local news person there talking to him and his wife.
Working East Palestine at Roll Arena, outside with cars and water. And it's just been like this ever since the train blew up.
Well, what are they telling you?
My doctor says I most definitely have the chemicals in me. And,
but he has to find a toxologist to get properly. Like, there are no doctors in town to be able to help you?
That's what they tell me. I gotta make a phone call and schedule an appointment with somebody.
Okay. But are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Is it just affecting your voice, Wade, or are you feeling it in other areas of your body?
My chest hurts.
She's trying to get him to say he can't get it up.
Mm-hmm.
What is she driving at there? Has it affected any other part of your body, Wade?
That is immediately cause for alarm. Like, you can't pop a rod? Oh, sound the alarm.
Are you feeling it in other areas of your body?
My chest hurts at nighttime. It feels like I'm drowning a little.
He wakes up every morning.
I have a hard time breathing. Yeah. I cough up phlegm a lot.
Ooh.
Yeah. But other than that,
Are you in pretty good health, Wade, up until now?
Yeah.
Only a 40-year-old man. That's not very old.
No. But now I'm just waiting around.
Just waiting around. Somebody to see him.
Hey, Chris. From Family Guy. Creepy old man. I mean, it sucks for this guy, but yeah.
It does suck. Again, he doesn't look like a guy.
Muscly arms.
I think the fact that the guy doesn't look like he's in awesome health is probably going to work against him. But
why hasn't Pete Buttigieg
came
and visited?
Why hasn't he came?
Why didn't he come?
Why hasn't he came and visited?
I don't know that he hasn't. I don't know. But again, the woman, this guy's fiance, is sitting there in the truck with him. She's got a Trump shirt on. Right. So the people who are to blame for, killing EPA regulations or safety protocols for train companies, I mean, that's not going to register with the people in a town like this.
But if anybody can help clean it up, it's the transportation secretary.
Well, again, that's not his purview. I mean, to say that these people have been Johnny on the spot would be incorrect too. But I mean, so the people in this town, they have a lot to contend with. Somebody had texted me and said that they're out in this area and everybody they know is sick. That their friend's husband missed work after going to work every day for years. Father-in-law has missed a bunch of work. Kids didn't go to school because they had something that presented as bronchitis.
Oh, if I was that kid, though, like if I was a kid in East Palestine and I saw an opportunity to miss school, I'd be like, oh, my voice all messed up. I can't. My bones don't work.
My bones don't work.
I can't go to school today.
It burns when I toss off.
I don't know if I'd say that to my parents.
Well, that
yeah, remember how you were talking to your parents when you were a kid about tossing off all the time?
Everything burns, Mama. Everything burns.
Well, they have a lot to contend with out there. A woman in Texas, or a councilwoman or something, apparently is upset because apparently we're shipping the water to Texas. We're shipping the this is how things work, I guess. They send the toxic water out of town.
Oh, okay.
And another company goes, yeah, we'll take it. We'll process it. And then that company gets a contract to do that. I have to imagine, I don't know if they're shipping the toxic water by train or if it's by truck. Just that some people down in Texas are none too pleased about it because they said they didn't know about it. Which seems to be the way these things always kind of go. That whether it's by truck or by train, there's always some kind of company that has contracted to dispose or otherwise resynthesize toxic materials or something, unbeknownst to a lot of people who live in the area.
And it's a very real problem. We didn't know about this sooner. It's a very real problem. We were told yesterday the materials were coming, only to learn today they've been here for a week. We need to find a way to ensure this doesn't happen again moving forward and that we get the information that our community deserves.
Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo protesting the lack of disclosure regarding the transport of toxic materials to a disposal facility in Deer Park. The 500,000 gallons of water originated in Palestine, Ohio, where it was contaminated, suppressing the fire involved with the February 3rd Norfolk Southern train derailment. A company known as Texas Molecular has been contracted to dispose of the wastewater via deep underground injection.
Isn't that fracking?
I don't.
Deep underground injection of water?
I
That's
don't know.
fracking, isn't
Okay.
it? I mean, in Texas, they're like, what we're going to do is take the toxic water, we're going to inject it into the ground, get rid of it. I'm pretty sure that's fracking. But
deep?
anyway,
Real deep.
People in Texas there, unaware. Because, you know, even people out in East Palestine or anybody working with any of these state and federal agencies trying to get transparency from the actual train company just get stonewalled because these train companies are like, we're constantly shipping toxic materials and we don't really want to be on the hook for it. That's what it comes down to. They're like, there isn't a train going through a town in this country right now that probably doesn't have at least one car of toxic materials. And we don't, and frankly, people don't care until something like this happens. You know, if somebody was like, oh, there's toxic materials going up and down the railways of this country every single day, most people go, okay, gotta go somewhere. It's when you have a massive derailment like this. But it's no surprise that the companies that run these modes of transportation don't want people finding out what's in what. So they're in Deer Park, Texas. There's a company that's going to take the East Palestine water and shoot it into the ground. I wonder if that's going to work against the Deer Park Water Company. Isn't there a bottled water company called Deer Park?
I believe there is.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to be bad press for them. I don't think they're based in Texas. But Deer Park, Texas is where that company is taking water from East Palestine. But the poor people in and around that town who have to contend with whatever's happening next. Obviously, there's no shortage of finger pointing along those lines, but there is no small amount of cognitive dissonance when Trump comes into town, and that's a town that loves Trump. That's no shock. You saw a video of how he was received, and he's throwing dumb caps at people and giving them 10-year-old water in bottles and whatever. But that's the guy who killed all the safety regulations. But that's not the thing that's going to it's not going to move the needle on anybody in that town, because it's not going to make them, it's not going to improve their situation. But that Mickey Mouse voice guy, boy. You know, and I saw people like saying that the guy was faking or whatever. I'm like, I don't understand where that's coming from either. You think the guy is faking that? If he was, that's pretty awesome. I mean, if he was really faking that, that would be pretty wild. He goes, hey, honey. Exactly. There's no end game to that. It's just people liking to get their undies into saying that these people are lying. What's more likely, that this guy's lying or that an entire town is being affected by toxic chemicals?
Working East Palestine at Roll Arena, outside with cars and water.
Jesus, now all I can hear is the guy from Family Guy. The guy with a whistle in his voice.
Yeah. And it's just been like this ever since the train blew up.
What are they telling you?
My doctor says I most definitely have the chemical.
Is it Herbert the Pervert? Is that the guy that's from Family Guy?
Yes.
Herbert the Pervert?
Different species or something.
Oh, who needs them? You like popsicles?
Well, sure.
Then you need to come on down to the cellar. I got a whole freezer full of popsicles.
Oh, come on. Herbert the Pervert. Well, that's not this guy. This guy's just trying to live his life.
I have the chemicals in me. And,
but he has to find.
Jesus, imagine your doctor goes, oh, well, you've got the chemicals in you. And the woman sounds incredulous that East Palestine doesn't have a local toxicologist, by the way. Really, there's no doctor around here that can help? No, our doctor's got one of those mirrors on his forehead, and he's got a black leather bag. It's not a big town. We're not set up for something like this.
The toxologists to get properly. Like, there are no doctors in town to be able to help you?
That's what they tell me. I gotta make a phone call and schedule an appointment with somebody.
Okay.
But,
are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How do you...
Well, anyway. Hey, Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Alan.
Hello. What's up?
Hey, so I used to live in Houston, Texas, and my ex-wife is from...
good for you.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually, our daughters go to the same school. We were at the same daddy-daughter dance a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, so, is this a Scott I know?
We chatted briefly.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure there's more than one Scott. Yeah, I know who Scott is. Yeah, okay. What's up?
Yep. So my now ex-wife is from Deer Park, Texas, and her dad owns a business that does quote-unquote water and oil refinery in Deer Park.
Yeah.
Which is on the shipping channels in Houston. That whole area is just a environmental mess. Like, there is so many EPA violations in that area. It's basically right where Galveston Island and the mainland of Texas meet. So if they're shipping water from Palestine or Palestine, however Ohioans say it, if they're shipping it down there, it's just going to go into a sludge pit and eventually probably leak out into the Gulf of Mexico.
I was going to say that's hurricane country, and there's probably also a couple of super fun sites there too.
Oh gosh, it's that whole area is just disgusting. Like, it's oil slicks everywhere. Yeah.
Well, that's got to make
got
to make Bill Squire feel good, since his sister lives down there now.
Yeah.
It's well,
doing what they're doing.
Tell them to mask up. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Scott.
What part of Houston is she in? Yeah.
Some part. I don't know. I don't know, man.
You're asking him where his own sibling lives. What are you talking about?
The part.
It's a big city.
Yeah.
There are nice parts, but that area is not so good. So
yeah,
just thought I'd put my two
I don't
cents
think that's
in.
where she is.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I appreciate the call,
to her
pal. Thank you. Yeah, well, anyway, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do in East Palestine, but I know obviously they're trying to get this train company to pay for everything. That'll never happen. Good luck with that. But I don't know. I hope at least that guy gets his voice back. And I hope that Mike DeWine's fractured fibula gets better. You know what the fibula is, Poundcake? I think you were talking to a caller when I had asked before, but you know which bone the fibula is. We've talked about this before.
Fibula.
Yeah, the fibula.
It's like a...
You know what part of the body you'd find the fibula?
In the throat.
That's how kinky you are.
Well, I was thinking there was a reason why they call a lie a fib, because it comes out of your mouth, so it's in some part of your throat.
What? They call a lie a fib because
when
it comes out of your mouth? Where else would a lie come from?
Well, I'm saying I thought it was somewhere in the throat because you have to speak with your throat and your mouth. So I thought it was like a fib.
Are you thinking of the uvula?
No, I was thinking of fibula. But okay, I don't know where the fibula is. Where's the fibula?
It's in the leg.
Okay.
The tibia and the fibula? You've never heard of the tibia and the fibula?
I probably have. I just forgot.
Yeah, you thought it was in the mouth?
In the throat. Like, what? Do you have anything like above the little spine muscle? The neck muscle?
The little spine muscle.
Neck bone connected to the mouth bone connected to the leg bone. All right, I've got to take a break, and if you want to send a text, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com for all the other stuff.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 W. 100.7 WMMS. Cleveland.
It's time to give stuff away. Alan Cox gives stuff away.
All right, how about MAC basketball? The MAC Men's Championship Session 3 is Saturday, March the 11th at the Romo Fijo. You can go to clevelandmonsters.com to get details, if that's correct. MAC Men's Championship Basketball, Saturday, March 11th. If you're into that, I got a pair of tickets here for you. Caller 10, good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
When people say radio is dead, we disagree. But it does explain the smell. The Alan Cox Show is on 100.7 WMMS.
You see any of that snow on the West Coast?
Yeah, it's crazy. San Diego had their first ever snow advisory or blizzard warning.
Yeah. I texted a buddy of mine who lives in L.A., and I go, are you guys getting snow? And he sent me back video of his front lawn. He's in Glendale, and he sent me a picture of his front lawn that was like hail or something. Because Pasadena, I have another friend that lives in Pasadena, and it looked like a goddamn blizzard. But they were getting something called thunder grapple. Not only are they, now I'd never heard of this. I'm sure people that are into meteorology might know this term. But I'd never heard it before. And so not even thunder snow. They were getting something called thunder grapple. I guess grapple is the term for really soft, wet snow. And so they were getting soft hail is grapple. It's also called hominy snow or snow. How many do these fall? 2 to 5 millimeter balls of super cooled water. So maybe a fancy word for hail. I don't know what it's distinct from hail. It says in formation and appearance. Anyway, that's what they were getting out there. And my buddy was like, yeah, it's pretty wild out here. They were getting thunder grapple as far north as San Francisco. L.A. County was under a snow advisory. The Hollywood sign. A lot of people were posting the photo of the Hollywood sign covered in snow. Grapple, they said, is snowflakes wrapped in ice. And so they said, obviously, it was very, very bizarre because West Coast doesn't get a lot of that. So we have a lot of bureau chiefs out that way, too. Usually you can go up into the mountains, obviously, and see that, but nobody had to drive that far to see it. You can always count on AC/DC to give you a hit. They go, guys, it's a new decade. We're going to need a new hit song. But it's going to have to be essentially in the same way in which we do it. This song's 30 years old at least.
Dog on the road, man. Just
Dog on the road, that's right.
Your Marge Simpson impression, you got an AC/DC song.
And Thunderstruck, this is the song that's made them the most money because it has been the most licensed for movies, sporting events, everything else. But yeah, Dog on the Road, these two guys on Twitter 2-3 years ago were like, you can make an AC/DC song very easily in about 30 seconds.
Here's how to make an AC/DC track in 30 seconds. First, you need drums. Then you need bass. Then you need guitar. All you need to know are 3 chords, A, D, and G. Put them together in any order. And do your best impression of Marge Simpson. What's that? Look out! Dog on the road!
Yeah. There's a dog on the road.
There's
It's
a
the
dog
greatest
on the
AC/DC song that they never recorded or released. Dog on the road. Cavaliers are off tonight. Big win here at home last night, though, if you got to see them beat the Raptors. 118-93. They'll play the Celtics in Boston Wednesday night, and then back here at home on Saturday night against the Pistons of Detroit, who are a terrible basketball team. But maybe they'll have a good night on Saturday.
I'd prefer they don't.
Pistons have only won 15 games. And that's still more than the Spurs and the Rockets. What the hell is going on down there? What's Popovich doing?
He's just like, I'm just running out the clock now. he's had an amazing
Is he going to
career.
retire?
He's won 5 championships.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you still want to win.
Yeah.
You know, you go, yeah, you won 5 championships.
But he's got to
same-
rebuild the team. He needs a good draft pick.
Yeah, I know.
He needs a number 1 pick, and then maybe he can get back on top.
All right.
Or maybe he'll jump ship, go coach somewhere else. I don't see that happening, though.
Alan Groppel is that snow we get a lot of times. The beginning of winter, the bounces off the windshield doesn't stick.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Alan, hate the show. I'm calling in because, I think sometimes when you describe a video that's going to be a bit graphic, that description can trigger a lot of thoughts in people's heads. So if there's some way you can give a trigger warning or some background before you give your trigger warning and background before you play a video that needs trigger warnings and backgrounds on it, that'd be great, just so you could be inclusive of everyone.
I think
see what he's saying.
I think he's joking.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, we are at a point where I can't tell. I genuinely can't tell. I'm going to go with, I think he's kidding. I just don't know all the time. But there it is. You think he was kidding, Poundcake?
No. I think he's dead serious.
And you think he's dead serious? All right. That's okay. Listen, I like to hear from people when they leave us messages on the app. It's called the iHeartRadio app. We ever mentioned that before?
Nope.
Oh,
Today's the
okay.
first time.
All right, good.
They finally earned it.
Mm-hmm. Snowflake is ice, so snowflakes wrapped in ice is literally just ice.
Oh.
Well, again, I took meteorology in college, and it worst grade I ever got in a class. So don't count on me to remember much more than condensation nuclei. And, I took it specifically to hit on somebody, and it didn't go that well. So I certainly can't recall that information 30 years later. Did you see they're revising the James Bond books? They have
Books?
Huh?
I didn't know there was any books of James Bond.
You didn't know that James Bond was a literary character?
No, I thought he was always like a movie, maybe comic books, I guess, but I didn't think he was like a book character.
No, there was
Comic books.
There was a series by.
Okay.
There's
Sorry.
No, tell him. Go ahead, tell him.
Author named Ian Fleming.
Sweet.
Wrote all these.
Who I think
The
was
series,
he
yeah.
was like a noted racist,
Yeah.
right? Like an anti-Semite and the whole bit. So, but he had a very, very popular character.
Spy series.
Yeah. James Bond. And so what they've done now, I guess, from the people who brought you, I don't know, the people that brought you the Dr. Seuss thing or something.
Huck Finn without any N-word.
Oh, did that get taken out too?
I did that years ago.
Well, I know they had talked about it. I didn't know if it was a thing that they actually did or if it was just people getting their undies in a bunch. But they're revising James Bond books because it had a lot of racist stuff in it. Ian Fleming Publications owns all the literary rights, and so they've hired what they're calling sensitivity readers. And they're going through all those old books. They're going through Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger. They're getting ready to celebrate the 70th anniversary of James Bond. And, they went through, you might remember last year, the analog to this is when they went through all the Roald Dahl books. The guy did Willy Wonka and all those, they were really slicing those up because there was some stuff in there. A lot of these guys, you'll be surprised to know, back in the day, were pretty open with their prejudices, and it would, find itself in its work or in their work. And so, yeah, when Ian Fleming would write these James Bond books, they were very popular books, they're going to be published with warnings now.
Doing the same thing with the Bible because they have so much anti-Samaritan language in there.
Right. We only know them to be good.
Well, we only know that one's good.
You never hear about a bad Samaritan.
No, that's the whole thing, is that they're like, a Samaritan did something good? This is not how Samaritans act. That's the whole idea behind that story. They're like,
well, back then there was a lot of anti-Samaritan violence.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're right.
Very anti-Samaritan. So now they're just like, oh, the Samaritan's just being a regular guy. Nice guy. All Samaritans are good.
Some of the examples they give of these Ian Fleming books, the James Bond books, being problematic, I guess, to use the common parlance. Live and Let Die, which was written in 1954. The bad guy is called Mr. Big, and he's a black Jamaican with ties to the American criminal underworld. And I don't remember if that character was in the movie Live and Let Die. Was that the Lazenby movie?
Oh, I don't
remember. It was the Paul McCartney. No, it was Roger Moore, I guess. Maybe it was the first Roger Moore movie, 1973. But Mr. Big was Yaphet Kotto, who was in Alien. He was an actor that did a lot of work for a long, long time. He was on a cop show back in the day, too. But he was Mr. Big. Jeffrey Holder was in Live and Let Die. Remember the guy who used to do the 7-Up commercials? He was in Live and Let Die. And so anyway, the usual suspects who probably haven't thought about a James Bond book in their entire life are getting all in a froth over them revising these books. I've never read a James Bond book. I love those movies. I don't know why.
They're so stupid.
I probably like them for the same reason everybody else likes those movies, or people who do like them. I've always loved the James Bond movies. I don't know why, because they are pretty dumb.
But they're fun.
There's nothing wrong with dumb, by the way.
They're just fun. They're just dumb, fun action movies that make you feel like you're some sort of secret agent or smart in some way, because they always figure something out, but it's not really. It's all fake science and stuff. I don't know. It's just it's fun. It's a good time.
It's kind of like a superhero-y kind of movie.
For sure.
But he's in a tuxedo instead of a cape.
Well, he's got a tuxedo, and then he also has all these gadgets and stuff like that. And he escapes
banging hot
death,
chicks
at every turn, because nobody just wants to shoot him in the face. They're always like, I'm going to tie you up and then have this slow-moving buzzsaw come towards your crotch, and we'll see if you can get out. And guess what? He's going to get out. Just shoot him in the face.
Yeah, but those are the old James Bond movies. The Daniel Craig one where Mads Mikkelsen is the bad guy and he ties him to the chair.
Out of his nuts.
Oh, my God.
Well, that one's a little different. But still,
holy cow.
If you really want him gone,
yeah,
shoot him in the face.
Well, pulverizing his balls might be more torture.
It's more
shoot him
torture,
in the face.
But he still got out and stopped it.
I know.
So if you want James Bond to not stop you, shoot him in the head.
These guys just have a boner for torture. You shoot a guy in the face, he's dead. That's it.
Right.
They want to torture him.
I know.
They want to prolong.
It's because they're so egotistical. Because they're like,
Yes.
there's no way he's ever getting out of this. But he always gets out of it. Idiots. Shoot his face. That's why I like in
Shoot his
Golden
face.
Circle, or not Golden Circle.
GoldenEye?
Not GoldenEye. They're like they're a spy like spin-off, or not
The
spin-off,
Kingsman?
but Kingsman, yeah. In Kingsman, the first one, when they just straight up shoot, what's the guy's character's name? I think it was Galahad, but he was played by, he really knows how to wear a sweater, Colin Firth.
Okay.
He just straight up gets shot right in the face. And that movie came out 10 years ago, so spoiler alert, beware.
Is that the sequel?
No, it's the first one.
The first one, they shoot him right in the face?
Right in the face.
Okay.
And it's right after he has this badass fight scene.
But he doesn't die. That's the church scene, and then he gets shot in the face?
Yeah, and he dies in that, but then they bring him back in the sequel. And that's,
okay.
That's annoying.
All right.
I don't like that they brought him back, but, you know, it is a spy movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see the second one. I like that first one.
The second one was fun too. It's got Pedro Pascal in it.
Isn't Jeff Bridges in the second one?
Jeff Bridges, I believe, is in the second one.
Okay.
Channing Tatum's in the second one, but not those two aren't in it as much as you think they would be, with it being as big a names as they are.
Okay.
But I like those movies. I think they're a lot of fun. But I also like I like watching the old James Bond movies because I like what the technology.
Cutting edge technology.
Yeah, cutting edge technology is like, there's a radio in your watch. They're like, whoa, wow.
This pen has poison ink in it. What? But you'll notice, by the way, when they're going through and changing things that they deem to be problematic, I guess that's fine. That's good. But they're not, you never hear them talking about changing the names of the girls. And you recall
why
that
would they need to change the names of the girls?
I mean, some of
names?
these names. I mean, listen to this. Jill Masterson.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
I mean, problematic much?
Got the word master in it. That's not good.
The girl in Goldfinger was named Dink. Paula Kaplan? I mean, what, are you trying to make people mad?
What was Denise Richards' character? Something Christmas?
Yeah, she was Christmas Jones,
Christmas
right?
Joe.
I thought Christmas only came once a year while Pierce Brosnan's getting ready to slice her.
Yeah.
But there was Pussy Galore, and there was...
Pussy Galore is the most egregious one.
Yes.
That one is fantastic. Like that, they couldn't come up with one as funny as that in the Austin Powers movies.
Right.
Even A Lot of Vagina isn't as funny as Pussy Galore.
Yeah. There was Plenty O'Toole. Jill St. John was young and foxy. Diamonds Are Forever. She was Tiffany Case. Mary Goodnight.
Was that the one where he came back, where Sean Connery came back, Diamonds Are Forever?
No, Never Say Never Again was
Okay.
the one. Kim Basinger was in that one, I think. The Bond girl in The Man with the Golden Gun was an Asian girl named Chew Me.
Mm.
That's a little aggressive.
It's right up there.
Uh-huh. A Lot of Vagina. Holly Goodhead was the CIA agent working undercover in Moonraker. I think Moonraker was the first Bond movie I saw as a kid. I was 8 or 9, and it was in space. It was Roger Moore. Richard Kyle was in it. He was the bad guy. He was Jaws.
Yeah.
The Silver Teeth. He was in Happy Gilmore, I think. He's the big, weird-looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
But the girl's name was Holly Goodhead. And I'm 8 or 9. I don't know what the hell that means, right?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to you then, but
Right.
then you grow up and go, ho, ho, ho. That's crazy.
Now I get it.
The first one I saw was GoldenEye. So I think I was 10 or 12. I had seen like parts of James Bond movies on TV at that point, but
Yeah.
I hadn't really like sat down and watched one. Then I saw GoldenEye and loved it instantly.
I just couldn't figure out how they got away with, I mean, it was a 1-2 punch for me because I saw Moonraker. Then the next one was Octopussy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how are they? I didn't even know what that was when I was that age. But I was like, in retrospect, how were they getting away with all that? But yeah, so they're not changing any of the Bond girl names.
That's good.
In these.
That's sacred.
Xenia Onatop. That was the Russian girl in GoldenEye.
Instead of changing the stuff, can't they just put a warning on new versions of it and say, hey, this was written a long time ago?
That's what they're doing on the books. That's what they're doing. It says,
but they're not like taking stuff out.
Well, they are. They're
Okay, well,
they're
that's-
revising it, and then they're saying it. So they're revising it, and they're still putting a This
Right.
this
Do
book
one
was,
or the other.
This
I was
book
like-
was written at a time when terms and attitudes which might be considered offensive by modern readers were commonplace. That's the overly verbose warning after they've gone through.
That's what Disney Plus did with Aristocats, right?
I think they just pulled it.
Mm-mm.
No, they just said
they
this
put
is
like
a different
disclaimer.
time. Yeah.
Oh, did they?
What if they're just like, hey, we are after these people and we are going to hurt them, but it's not because they're black.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure it's just because we're evil. It's not because of anything to do with race.
Strawberry Fields was one of the
Forever
most recent Bond girls. And then there was another girl named Dr. Molly Warmflash. Hello, Dr. Warmflash.
I thought you were going to say flaps.
Dr. Molly Warmflaps. Mr. Bond, I presume? Indeed. So anyway, enjoy that if you're a James Bond fan. I got a break. I'll have those Depeche Mode tickets for people hitting me up for those. All week, I got those tickets. Depeche Mode has added Cleveland to their itinerary, and they're coming this fall to the Romo Fijo. So I'll have this for you coming back. 35192. Want to text me for anything else.
Get ready for the experience of a lifetime.
or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now it's time to give stuff away. Time to give stuff away.
All right, Depeche Mode has announced the Memento Mori tour will stop in Cleveland to play the Romo Fijo. It's going to go down on Friday, November the 10th. They haven't toured in a number of years. Don't know how long it's been since they've been here. RocketMortgageFieldhouse.com is going to have the ticket info for you. If you strike out with me, you can go to WMMS.com and try to win some there. All right? Make this one count. Caller 10. These are yours. 2 for Depeche Mode this fall. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
For the record, this is as interesting as they get.
I mean, it's as interesting as a morgue. It might be less interesting than a morgue.
The Alan Cox Show. On 100.7 WMMS Buzzard Radio.
I had to grow up a little to come to Depeche Mode, I have to say. I remember my my buddy Richie, when we were kids, we were all listening to Kiss. And Richie's older brother had Depeche Mode People Are People on vinyl. And the most recent Kiss album was Lick It Up. We're talking summer 83 maybe. So I had just turned 12. And we were all, it was the first Kiss album where they had taken their makeup off. So it was a big deal. Lick It Up was out. My parents, none too pleased that I was listening to an album called Lick It Up. But they let it go. So I was a good kid. I was just getting into Kiss. But the next spring, Depeche Mode drops People Are People. And I remember that following summer when we had a head full of Kiss, Lick It Up, and my buddy Richie's older brother was more into what at that time would have been referred to as alternative music.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't have that name yet. It was just stuff that a lot of people, you didn't hear it on the radio and people weren't listening to it. His brother wasn't any kind of emo kid or anything like that. He was a jock. But he really liked Depeche Mode, and we thought his older brother, boy, we called him some names because he liked Depeche Mode, and we were listening to Kiss. And it wasn't like we were little hard asses or anything. We didn't like rock and roll. And Depeche Mode did change their sound over the, a lot of bands did. They kind of started off more of kind of like a, keyboard poppy type thing. But I had to grow up to come to Depeche Mode because in the Kiss v. Depeche Mode wars at my friend Richie's house, Depeche Mode lost. And again, it was his older brother, so he could have easily kicked our asses, but he didn't. And I have to think it's because he knew we'd come around. And
I think there's a lot of people that never did, though.
A lot of people that never did. And that's fine. But, is Depeche Mode in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Weren't they up for induction a couple of years ago?
I think they got in.
Did they get in? Are Depeche Mode in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Yeah, they are. Yeah. They went in with Biggie and 9 Inch Nails and Whitney Houston. So there you go. Depeche Mode are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Iron Maiden and Soundgarden. But again, I love them. And people have been blowing me up about these tickets, so I will have them for you all week. I shouldn't say all week. We are going to be preempted on Friday by Guardians baseball, so it's another 4-day week for us. But boy, if you've been reading the articles, these 4-day work weeks,
way to go.
Oh, they sound like hotcakes. These companies that are doing them, they cannot get enough.
All right, if we went to a 4-day work week, would you rather have Monday off or Friday off? Or Wednesday?
I got to tell you, 3-day weekends jam me up. I'm so used to working, despite people thinking that we usually work 4-day work weeks because it's the beginning of the year. There's always a lot of weirdo holidays and things, but 3-day weekends jam me up. I'm such a creature of habit that, I don't not enjoy them, but I really get thrown off when I come to work and it's Tuesday. I would rather have Friday, I think, because that means I've had a whole week to kind of gain some momentum. I'd rather start on a Monday. That's just how my calendar mind would prefer to work. I think this job is traditionally, this company would never go for 4-day work weeks. Unless it was a golden opportunity to start paying people less.
Right.
They might do it that way, but I mean, no one would agree to that. And what the hell am I going to do on a Friday? You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for Guardians baseball, we'd be here on Friday.
Right.
But people who go to work, sit in an office, hate their job, aren't appreciated, whatever check all the boxes you want to check for people who are doing mind-numbing work. They'd rather be living their life. And these companies that do these 4-day work weeks, companies that have done these pilot programs, you would think that the results would be the employees love it, the employers hate it, because they want to get as much of you as possible. But the companies that have done these pilot programs are like, we love it. They're like, people get to live their lives a little bit more. It makes them want to come to work. They seem to enjoy things more. I mean, ultimately, that's what you want.
I would rather have.
You can't just squeeze ad infinitum. Yes, you can't squeeze every ounce of productivity out of people and have them coming to work whistling every day.
I would say my ideal situation would be Wednesday, we're off.
Some people do that too.
2 days on, take a day off, 2 days on, 2 days off. Like, that would be,
I would, for this job, I would absolutely not be down with that.
I love it.
Midweek or off? No thanks.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. No. My abilities here require a certain amount of momentum. And that's really hard to get when you're like, just for me.
It's hard to get when we're on 5 days.
Huh? No, it's not. We go through, by the end of the week, I'm jelly, and that sounds silly to people.
You won't be jelly if we have that Wednesday off.
No, it's too stop and start.
I like the stop and start.
I mean, people who are nurses and doctors and they're like 36 hours on and then I get Wednesday and half a Thursday off. I completely understand that. But again, bottom line is these companies that try it, they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. And the employees are like, yeah.
Especially,
so we've been telling you, dummies, especially in an era where they're like, you got to come back into the office or you're fired.
If it were, that was the standard though, where everybody's work week was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and most people have that Wednesday off, I think that'd be fantastic.
Anybody watching The Consultant on Amazon?
No.
Christoph Waltz?
I don't think I have Amazon.
It's pretty wild. It's 8 episodes and they're 30 minutes apiece, which is great. That's the kind of show that I was sure was going to be an hour a pop.
Yeah.
So you can binge it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's very much like this guy comes in and he goes, okay, everybody working remotely, you have 1 hour to decide if you're coming in or you're fired. And it's just because it's a tech company. Huge wall of screens of all these people coming in the meeting remotely, and then one by one they go off and people are freaking out.
I was too busy watching Outer Banks, so I didn't watch.
Boy, we tried watching. There's a movie on Netflix called We Have a Ghost. We tried watching that. Holy cow!
That's
is
like
that
a
thing
comedy, right?
Oh my! I don't know. It's trying to be. Thing is like 2 hours and 7 minutes long. I was Googling this thing. It's Anthony Mackie. It's David Harbour as the ghost, but he doesn't have any dialogue. He doesn't talk. I'm like, why is this thing 2 hours long? And why was it $75 million? No wonder Netflix is everybody's cutting the purse strings. Yeah, I don't know what it's trying to be. The tone of the movie is all over the place. We haven't even finished it. I'm like, Jesus. I thought it was going to be way more slapsticky. And it's a lot of plaintive music and, oh, God.
No, not for me. I haven't watched a new movie or anything in a while. Other than seeing Quantumania. We watch our trash TV, me and my girlfriend, and we play a lot of Fall Guys. Won another round of Fall Guys, this time with a squad show. Pretty impressed with myself on that one. And then we went to that restaurant opening on Friday. That was very fun.
Oh, the soft opening.
Yeah.
The Dragon Taint or whatever it was.
Wolfpack Chorus.
Wolfpack Chorus. This is East Side?
Yes. It's over there in Little Italy. And I asked the chef what their policy was on children because we were talking about that article that of the place that said, what is it, Nettie's Spaghetti's.
Yeah, in Jersey. No kids under 10.
No kids under 10. And they said they don't have any high chairs or anything. So if you want to bring a kid in, because it's like fine dining, you can, but they don't have a kids menu. They don't really have anything that would accommodate kids. So I would say not the best place to take your kids. Whereas Nettie's Spaghetti's, that sounds like a family restaurant. Wolfpack Chorus, high end, great decor, great food, but not the place to take your kids.
I wanted to hear about the first place locally to ban kids, and one popped up. There's a tea room in Woodmere that said, we're done, enough with the kids. And the lady running the place is like, I really have been kicking this can down the road. We started talking about this last year, and I really wanted to be accommodating for people. But I simply can't do it anymore because people don't pay attention to their kids.
Nope.
The owner of the Macron Tea Room and Bakery. First of all, I couldn't believe how many tea rooms there are in Northeast Ohio.
Oh, yeah. People love their tea rooms.
These are fancy places with like teacups, and I had no idea.
My sister, when she was little, there was one in Medina. And
There's like a dozen
They do
of them.
their, and we don't even drink tea. Like, we didn't drink tea as kids, but they did her birthday party there a few years because it was just like a fancy, nice
Like a little
place.
tea party thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a place that maybe you would bring a kid. This place, the lady's going, no more under 6, which again seems fair.
Mm-hmm.
The place in Jersey said nobody under 10. That might be a high confront for these families that have like a 10. She's like, I can't have little kids running around anymore.
Kids are breaking lots of dishes. We are scrubbing food off the wall. Kids are spilling stuff. Kids are running up and down, disturbing other customers. Parents are saying nothing. It's just really sad how I'm pretty good at toning stuff out, but some of these parents don't even notice the kids are here and they're just running wild.
When owner Ala Yakimi posted new changes about her business, the Macaron Tea Room, on social media, she had no idea things would get this heated.
I was truly, truly shocked. I did not expect that. By no means, I didn't even, we talked about this with my sister and my family and the staff for months.
Starting March 1st, no children under the age of 6 will be permitted in the tea room. Ala tells me she came to this decision after things got out of control.
It got to the point where parents they ignore us when we ask them, hey, can you please, we had signs over there that says the dress-up corner is not a play zone. You take what you need and you sit down. They ignored it. Oh, they're just playing. Okay, I know, but this is not a playground. Or, it got to the point where parents were just ignoring us. And that was the thing. Like I said, a few weeks ago, we've been talking about it and I've been postponing it. That's okay. It was just one child. It's just one child. But in the last, I would say, month, it's just gotten crazy. And then like a few weeks ago, I think that was my last straw, where the child was running around with a teacup with tea in it, spilled the tea. Another customer almost fell, and it was an older customer. And I said, no, I'm done.
The decision has been met with mixed reviews on social media.
What?
That's not the tea that people want spilled. They want gossip. They don't want actual tea spilled.
With some supporting Ala and calling out parents who don't teach their children manners, and then others who say the decision isn't family friendly and they'll take their business elsewhere.
Good.
That's what they're telling you to do.
Family friendly.
Yeah, but No, it is. I mean, when I first watched that report, that was Channel 19 over there, and the woman said, yeah, we'll take our business elsewhere. I was like, yeah, take your business to another tea room. There's a lot of tea rooms. I had no idea. She goes, I don't have the staff or the dishes to be a Chuck E. Cheese. And if you think I'm wrong, please open up a tea room and do it your way. That's the thing. If any of these parents not watching their kids had their own place, they would be doing exactly the same thing as this woman.
Well, that's why they have them out at this tea room, because like they're destroying our house. We want to spread it around a little bit.
I wonder how much of it has to do with, over COVID, there were so many parents that had to be with their kids all the time. And, that sentiment kind of lingers where like over that time, once people realized, oh, this isn't going to be done in a month, and they were understandably, frustrated having their kids home all the time or whatever. Some of them never reverted back to that. They were like, I'm just letting this kid run around. Like, But yeah, if you're running a place like this, you can't have, and clearly she said there's a dress up corner or something. So clearly it's targeted to some version of child. It's not adults walking in there dressing up. I've never been to the place. So anyway, if you're a big fan of the Macaron Tea Room and Bakery over there in Woodmere, they're changing.
Better not be 5.
Goes into effect on March 1st.
That's why I stick to my policy.
If you can't whip them, you can't watch them.
Correct.
That's why the Poundcake Tea Room, you better
sign a waiver.
Tread lightly. That's right.
It's the whipping waiver.
You sign a waiver that the proprietor of the establishment can whip your children into shape.
Well, we don't believe in that. We're a grounding family. Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Was that his macho laugh?
It was pretty close.
That's so funny.
It was close to his macho laugh.
I'm going to take away your PS5.
Yeah. Well, listen, every family has a mechanism that works for them. Some kids taking things away from them really works. Works for my kid. Well, listen, did you get your ass beat growing up?
Yes, it did.
So did I. And so I said,
Look how great we turned out,
I was getting beat up at school and get my ass whipped at home. So I'm like, I'm not doing this to my kids.
You better act right.
We never spanked our kids. And my mom, she scoffed at that because that's how she did it. It was a long time ago. Parents are doing the best they could do. When you're not paying attention to your kids, that's a whole other thing. Anybody can pay attention to their kid and go, hey, get out of there, get out, come on. But anybody who was running a place like this, and the B-roll footage of this place, these tea rooms, they have like porcelain teacups.
Yeah.
They're not serving stuff in styrofoam.
They're not doing plastic.
It's very fragile, So anyway, when we were talking about that place in Jersey, I was like, I wonder what the first place, and this, I'm sure this isn't the first place, but I was wondering what place locally was going to go, yup, we're banning, under, whatever age. So there you go. But again, not burying the lead here, I had no idea how many tea rooms there were in this area. There's a lot. But I'm telling you, one by one, they're going to go, yup, same thing. We see what she's doing over there. No kids under 6.
I can't believe they take that, like parents take that as a personal affront. And I understand I don't have kids.
Parents take everything as a personal affront. Depending on what kind of parent you are. Some are super go with the flow and they're like, look, I get it.
But they're missing the point. Like, if your kid is well behaved, you don't have to worry about that. They're not talking to you. You can go anywhere. You can take your business elsewhere.
But you can't take them there now because they have. So if you
get mad at your fellow people not watching their damn kids.
Right.
But if your kid is well behaved, it's not going to be an issue because there are several different tea rooms and you'll be fine.
But parents of poorly behaved children take it very, very personally because they know they haven't really taught their kids to behave that well. They take it personally because it is kind of on them. Like you do have to find a way to impart to your kid at any age where the boundaries are.
It's like when Ned Flanders was a kid and he was hyperactive. And he had beatnik parents, and their response was, we've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
That's right. The freaky beatnik parents.
Young Ned is unusually aggressive, but I can't seem to find a cause for it. Hey, get down from that bookshelf, please. Most of those books haven't been discredited yet. Would you please tell your son to stop?
We can't do it, man. That's discipline. That's like telling Gene Krupa not to go boom, boom, ba, 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 boom, boom, ba, 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 boom, 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 ba, 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 boom, boom.
Lack of discipline. I'm beginning to see the problem.
We don't believe in rules. Like, we gave them up when we started living like freaky beatniks.
Now, you don't believe in rules, yet you want to control Ned's anger.
Yeah, you've got to help us, Doc. We've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
Oh, Nettie.
I forgot how funny that episode is, but especially the line, hey, be careful. Many of those books haven't been discredited yet.
Yeah.
Like, that
Psychology
one was over,
gag.
Yeah, that was over my head as a kid, but that is very funny now.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to break. If you want to text for something, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com is where your pictures show up, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
Buzzard Radio.
The Buzzard is Rover.
This is going to make me vomit.
And Alan Cox.
I certainly don't want to waste my latex fist.
You're at home of the Cavaliers.
What a fast break by the Cavaliers.
100.7
WMMS.
Your afternoon drive is brought to you by the Ken Ganley Auto Group, Ohio's #1 automotive retailer.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you?
Glad you're here. If you need assistance or just have a question, our associates will be glad to help you anytime.
Call the Alan Cox Show, 216-578-1007 or 1-800-348-1007.
$35192 to send a text. AlanCoxShow.com. You want to watch live? Thank you again to Jenny Wankajock. Anyway, for helping out today. Cavaliers are off tonight. Big win over the Raptors last night here at home. 118-93 was the final at the Romo Fijo. They will play again on Wednesday night. A couple of nights in between these next couple of games. Wednesday, they're in Boston to play the Celtics, and then back here at home on Saturday night to play the Pistons. One night prior, our own Bill Squire, by my math, that would be Friday, March the 3rd, will be performing at the Underground Lounge in Warren, Ohio.
Correct. And you can get your tickets at billsquire.com.
Are they close to being sold out?
We're about halfway there, so I would like to get all the way there. So get them tickets.
If you listen on iHeartRadio from outside Ohio, tell me where. Keith and Teresa are new bureau chiefs in Key West. A lot of bureau chiefs in the great state of Florida, by the way. A lot of bureau chiefs in Orlando. There's Matt and Brandon and Kelly. And one county over, if you've ever been to Daytona Beach, we drove out to Daytona Beach when we were in Orlando years ago, went for a wedding and drove out to Daytona. I guess I didn't realize how close they were or whatever, and it wasn't far away from the Daytona 500 time-wise. I think maybe it was going to happen in a couple of weeks or something. And there's a neo-Nazi group in Daytona Beach, and the county sheriff is a guy named Mike Chitwood. This is Volusia County, and this guy is hopping mad at these neo-Nazi groups out there, people who are renting trucks and screaming at people who were going to races at Daytona, screaming all kinds of anti-Semitic epithets at people. And this guy says, come and get it if you think that I'm a guy to be trifled with.
This is a neo-Nazi ideology on display. They wear GoPro cameras. They rent U-Haul trucks. They spent the time traveling up and down ISB during the 500.
By the way, can you tell this guy's originally from Philly?
Yeah.
He's not a Florida native, but he's the county sheriff down there.
Yelling obscenities from the back of the truck. Clearly, I don't see anything that this people can say this is First Amendment. This is nothing but pure evil. And I want to share this. There's a lot of people in this room, and there's a lot of people around this country of the Jewish faith who are on their hit list. They try to besmirch your character. They try to put death threats out on you and threaten you and your family. Well, I wear that as a badge of honor because I, too, by these clown group, want to shut my big mouth and put a bullet in the back of my head. Go for it. That's my message to you. Go for it. You want to try to get into my computer and plant child porn in there with a group of people that have an IQ of a 12? Go for it. I challenge you. Go for it. You want to put surveillance on me 24 hours? Go for it. And the best of all, you're going to dox me and make me unelectable? Go for it. You came to the wrong county. I stand with my Jewish friends, and I'm honored to be on your hit list. It's an honor to be sought after by a bunch of punk thugs like you. That's my personal message. With that, I'll turn it over to people who are calmer.
He's like, I'm from Philly, you sons of bitches. Guy's hopping mad.
I love it. He should be.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that finally.
Somebody finally got a comment from the Nazi parents out in Sandusky who are running that Nazi homeschool network. Guess who they blamed? Antifa and the media.
Got it.
They were mad about the negative coverage of their pro-Hitler homeschool network. Why do you guys have to cherry pick the worst stuff about our Nazi homeschool program? Just always trying to find the bad stuff in our pro-Hitler school. This is Katya and Logan Lawrence. We're the couple running they call the Dissident Homeschool Network from their home in Upper Sandusky. And State Department of Education made it pretty clear that when it comes to homeschooling, A, there's very little oversight. B, not a whole lot you can do if parents are teaching their kids however they want to teach them and whatever they want to teach them. So these Mensa candidates basically said it was just for some extra fun. And they said that the program was essentially wholesome and has been blown out of proportion. But, of course, they also blamed Antifa. Because, by the way, better step it up, Antifa. MAGA's running the table. I don't know what to tell you. You better get in there and, better step up. They were running a Telegram channel with 2,500 members and disseminating their own classroom resources, working Hitler quotes, anti-Semitic themes, and just general bonehead white supremacist ideology. You got to work that into your math lessons, right? They staunchly defended their actions, of course, because you're not going to be confronted and back down. They said it was mostly just homeschooling moms that were lifting each other up when things got difficult. Started during COVID when there were a lot of people homeschooling their kids. They were just some like-minded parents just lifting each other up.
Pretty awesome stuff, right?
They had a lesson plan to mark the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King. They called him a deceitful, dishonest, riot-inciting Negro.
Martin Luther King.
Wholesome stuff like that. Why? They blame the media for cherry. You gotta cherry pick. You gotta find the worst stuff about our Nazi homeschooling plan.
Way to go, Antifa.
They said that these were just fun extras that they added to the regular curriculum that they taught their 4 young children. We were deliberately made to look very unappealing, is what the mom said.
I thought you were going to
They
say.
deliberately made us look bad with our Nazi propaganda. What's that?
I thought you were going to say Martin Luther King was a hoe. Like I was expecting something like that.
Well, we all know he was a hoe. That ain't a lie.
He had a side piece. I don't think he was just cruising from city to
He
city.
had more than one side piece.
He was cheating respectfully. He had one faithful bitch that was following him around.
This guy, cheating respectfully. He's really hanging his hat on that one.
He cheats, but he saves. He helped us. All right?
All right, so you agree with their assessment of MLK as a deceitful, dishonest. You just said deceitful and dishonest.
Doing a dishonest thing does not make you a dishonest person.
Oh, shut up.
Come on.
Do you also believe that he was a riot inciting Negro?
No, because he didn't incite. That was Malcolm X that was doing all the rioting. It wasn't Martin Luther King.
Shut up, Poundcake.
Well, you at least agree with the Lawrence family that he was deceitful and dishonest. And a Negro. Frankly, you agree with 3. One of them's uncontrovertible, but you agree with 3 of the 4 descriptors that they put out for their MLK Day.
I didn't say none of that stuff. You were putting words in my mouth.
No,
right, man.
you putting words in your mouth. I don't ever have to put words in your mouth. They come out at such a rate that I don't ever have to wait for anything.
Martin Luther King Jr.
I just think it's funny that they were like, the media made us look very unappealing.
Right. And then
By reporting on exactly what we were doing, they really made us look
we weren't
unappealing.
supposed to tell anyone.
So when these kids graduate, what is their, like, do they get a diploma? How do they accredit this school?
I don't know how any of that works. Bill would know. I mean, you have experience with homeschooling, don't you?
Sort of. I mean, you gotta diploma just like anything else.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know more than I would.
But I think more homeschooling, I mean, it is rare that parents are actually teaching their kids. It's usually just they're sitting at a computer on a laptop and they have like a virtual teacher in a virtual classroom. So,
well, there are some families that are really hands-on with it.
That's what sounds what this is about.
Oh,
where they have their curriculum.
You have to be hands-on because there's no computer program for, teaching your kids about Hitler. They asked the other members to join their local pool party, which I guess was their word for neo-Nazi meetups or whatever. We're going to go to the pool, have some Choco Tacos. If we can find the vanilla versions, we'd prefer those. They said they were concerned about personal attacks against them and their children based on posts made by Antifa.
You're Nazis. There's going to be bad
But they also confirmed
publicity.
that nobody had approached them or made any threats.
they're asking for that smoke. They got to be ready.
Yeah. Yep. So the state goes in and they review it, and they're like, they're not doing anything illegal. It's highly unsavory, but they're not doing anything illegal. In which case, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's never
Like,
been.
we can't.
It's never been illegal to be a bigot.
Poundcake Brown, everybody. Cody Poundcake Brown.
Don't clap for yourself.
I was adding somebody in the
Clap for
background.
yourself. There's only 3 of us. Clap for yourself. That's all right. You should. Cody of Honor, premiering this fall on the Dubba Dubba WB. On UPN. Followed by an all-new Shasta McNasty.
Jeez, that's a deep pull.
Yep. The mom told the Neo-Nazi podcast that the reason she started the group is because she was having a rough time finding Nazi material for their homeschooled children. Ah, damn you, Antifa, for making the Nazis look bad.
This has to be a troll. It has to be a troll.
No, it doesn't. Do you know how many white bonehead Nazis are out there? It's Ohio, for God's
I think
sake.
they're just trying to get some press. Why? I don't know.
Why?
This isn't the press that they want.
I don't know.
If they wanted press, they wouldn't do it on like a side channel of some social media account using code words for things. That's not what somebody does when they're trying to get attention. They wouldn't be so mad that Antifa and the media revealed what they were doing.
Yeah, I know.
And they always make up some nonsense. We had to take our kids out of school because schools were fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Some nonsense Mad Libs. I don't want my children learning that. I want them learning the great stuff that Hitler was all about. I want my kids to grow up to be straight, married, and Christian. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's got nothing to do with Hitler. I mean, listen, it's, the whole Christo-fascist thing, that's part and parcel of what these people are all about. She claimed a student in one of her daughter's classes threw a chair at a teacher. Well. But, yeah, somebody got him to do an interview or something. Don't know. They remain undeterred. The Lawrences, mom and dad, they said that their desire to raise their children in a pro-Nazi environment is stronger than ever. I'm deeply committed to giving my kids a positive, pro-white education, is what the mom said. So again, there's nothing illegal about that. But it is funny the way that people will contort themselves to try to make something like that sound perfectly normal.
Yeah, they're like, what are we doing? We got our kids. They range in ages from KKK to 12.
I can't believe they only have 4 kids. Usually those people, they're cranking out kids left and right.
This is going to sound really stupid, but I just want to...
Ooh, that's my favorite comment.
Why does pro-white have to be white supremacy? Like, I don't understand. You could learn... If you're white, there's many different shades of Caucasian, and they all come from different parts of the world. If you want to learn your culture, if you're from Sweden or from Switzerland or
so you talk about being Swedish or
that's what I'm saying. You could be
you can do
pro-white
that.
and not
you can be pro-Swedish
and not hate black people. Like I don't know.
Well, because
that became a thing.
That's the difference. Is if you're saying like, if you're celebrating your Swedish culture or your German culture or your English culture, whatever it is, that's one thing. What these people like to do is they're not celebrating anything that they're doing. They are pushing other people down.
But
that's what their celebration is.
That's
is
what
going,
I understand.
Oh, we're
It's fundamentally
legit
it's
better.
It's fundamentally to the exclusion of other groups.
Yes.
And that's what I don't understand. What,
And
so
there's no
what
such
is-
thing as
what is their
there's no
issue?
such thing as white culture either. That's another thing that people push for when they're all into Nazis and stuff. White cult, there's no such thing as white culture. So, it's to the exclusion of other groups,
Right.
or else they wouldn't.
And
be
extermination. They don't
wouldn't be
want
making
them to exist.
They wouldn't be making the distinction if they weren't tied together. Because you'll hear a lot of those neo-Nazi types be like, and I don't even know why they call them neo-Nazis. You very clearly want to be a Nazi. You want to be like a modern-day Nazi. You're spouting all the same stuff Nazis did. I don't know why they keep adding the neo tag, but okay.
Just because it is neo, and in this case, Northeast Ohio.
Northeast Ohio Nazis. Maybe that's what they meant. But, yeah, it's hard to be pro-white and go, yeah, because otherwise you'd be as inclusive as anyone else. It's pointing out that you're trying to teach your kids to be pro-white. That literally means to the exclusion of everything else.
Mm-hmm. Because they're never talking about things that they've accomplished. They're always standing on the shoulders of other people. They're always talking about just this civilization that has been built over the years and trying to credit it to white people when it is such a conglomeration of all these other aspects. Like, I mean, they just completely whitewash everything that got us where we are and don't actually include how this has been a group effort through the whole entire world to get where we are now. It's
also never people who are representing the best and the brightest of us, by the way. You know, if there was some Superman who came down here and it was like, listen, you know, at least you'd kind of cock your head and go, well, the guy's got a point, at least for him. But it's never that. It's always these people who, you know, love, because it's all rooted in like being a victim, and they love that, boy.
Well,
they're put upon. It's not their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. We're just trying to show our kids the real direction of the way the country should be, and blah, blah, blah. But they're not doing anything illegal. And that's the distinction that these people have to make. I mean, as angry as it might make people, 2,500 people were members of this thing. Still are, actively. Because they're like, look, we can't do anything about it. It's gross, and it's, you know, but they're literally not alone. Alan, it's neo-Nazi. Yeah, I know. It's
oh, that is
right.
good.
Yeah, neo-Nazi from the Matrix.
Whatever.
Let me take a break here. If you want to get the last word in, shoot me a text, will you? 35192, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio.